Hello and welcome back to Mate's Tottenham blog and today's transfer deadline day live stream. Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. There's about 9 hours, 8 or 9 hours left in the window right now, and it could be an unbelievable few hours for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. I'm going to be staying here till about 12 o'clock, hopefully bringing through all the news that is coming out from the various sources over the next few hours to try and keep you up to date with the transfer deadline day and to create a discussion between us and kind of see what the general feeling is with Tottenham fans at the moment. So there's so many updates that we will be getting, I'm sure, throughout the next couple of hours. We've already had one over Ryan Sessegnon this morning. Giovanni Lo Celso, that's one that looks like it will be completed. And now in the last couple of minutes there has been a development with regards to Paulo Dybala, and I'll bring you that as soon as I get the stream properly up and running. For those of you who are watching on the stream replay, look, I'm sure you already know what's happened in the window, so leave down in the comments below what you thought about our business over the day. Of course, at the moment I have absolutely no clue what's going on, but you have a better insight than me, so leave down in the comments below what you do think about the business that has gone on today. If you are new to this channel, I do a lot of these interactive live streams, and of course I won't be doing transfer ones anymore, but I will be doing match reviews throughout the season, trying this kind of format to kind of create a discussion around Tottenham and actually make it a conversation rather than me talking to you through a camera. So if you do want to get that content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and hit the notification bell as well, so you get notified whenever I upload or whenever I go live. I'm also running a Facebook group at the moment. I'll leave a link to that in the description below as well. And I'm doing so I'm trying to set up a stream here. I'm doing a fantasy football league as well. I leave the code in the description along with the link to the website. So make sure to go and check that out. I've about 30 people in there already. We're hoping just to get a good league going amongst Spurs fans as soon as we possibly can. So just waiting for a few more viewers to come in here. I'm just going to remind you that we're looking at Giovanni Lo Celso, Ryan Sessegnon and Paulo Dybala as potential signings in for Tottenham today. I'm also going to kind of keep you up to date a bit with the deals going on around the Premier League. If there is some breaking news coming in, I'll try my best to bring it all to you. Now, the first bit of news that we received this morning, Ryan Sessegnon is more than likely going to be a Tottenham player by the end of the day. We've agreed a deal with Fulham to bring him in. It's believed to be in and around £25 million plus Josh Onuma, with add-ons bringing the deal up to about £30 million. So this news broke very early this morning, about 6:30. Tottenham have agreed a deal with Fulham to bring Ryan Sessegnon to Tottenham. Now this is one that we expected. We heard on Monday from Sky Sports that we were in talks and all parties were confident of a deal being completed. But it seems now like that has progressed a whole lot more, and that deal I'm sure will be done over the next couple of hours. Apparently the majority of his medical has been completed already, so it'll be interesting to see just how quickly that deal can get done. With regards to Giovanni Lo Celso, we heard yesterday a deal has been agreed. It's about £55 million. Now that is a very interesting one because it's apparently not the deal that we were expecting. We were, of course, expecting to sign him for about £55 million and see where it would go from there. But according to various sources at the moment, it's actually going to be an initial loan deal for Giovanni Lo Celso. So we're going to sign him on loan for about £16 million this window, and then next summer there's an obligation to buy in that contract. So he will be a Tottenham player next summer. We will sign him for about £40 million. Now what that does, it's very beneficial for both teams, because from Tottenham's point of view, we'd only have to spend £16 million this summer on bringing him in, which obviously is a lot less than what we might have had to spend, but it leaves a lot of money aside for the Paulo Dybala image rights, which we know have been a problem. But I'll get onto that in a second. It seems as though that may actually have been solved. So from Real Betis' point of view, that's also a massive deal for them, bringing it on loan, because we've heard about the sell-on clause in the contract when they bought Giovanni Lo Celso, and it's a clause that is based on the profit that they make from the player, not the amount that he's sold for. So if they sell him for 60 million on loan this summer and then 40 million for sale next summer, ultimately they make about 15 million profit from that, and they only have to give 3 million to PSG, as opposed to a fair bit more if they did just let him go at whatever price they're looking for him, because they will ultimately get the money that they want, but it'll be structured a bit differently and they'll generate a lot more profit than they would have with the deal that we expected in the first place. Now, as I was saying, some potential updates with Paulo Dybala. BBC have reported in the last few minutes that the image rights problems in that Paulo Dybala deal have been solved. So the BBC do expect this deal to go ahead today. We're yet to hear something from Sky Sports. I'm keeping a close eye on that here. But it's very encouraging news coming out at the moment that potentially Paulo Dybala's image rights problems have been solved. Personal terms are not expected to be an issue. We all saw that post on Instagram yesterday. His story when he's hugging these players, and it appeared that it might have been a goodbye to them. And Joshua Humphreys here saying BBC have said Dybala is nearly done. They're very reliable, and they have been, to be fair to them, pretty reliable this window already, and it's looking good. It's absolutely looking good. Paulo Dybala could be a Tottenham player in the next 8 or so hours. So make sure to get your questions and comments in here in the live chat, and I'll go through as many of them as I can. Of course, it's not going to be constant updates, but I imagine there will be, over the next few hours, quite a fair bit to get through. With regards to Bruno Fernandes, that deal it's off. We know his agent met with the Sporting Lisbon president yesterday to kind of discuss his future, and they came to an agreement that he wouldn't leave the club unless a team paid the £70 million release clause up front. So if Tottenham were to pursue a deal there, they would ideally have a structured deal, which we know Daniel Levy does a lot, and it's looking like that's what's going to happen now with Lo Celso and Paulo Dybala. So that seems very unlikely at the moment. I see Marco here asking about Philippe Coutinho, and that won't be happening. Coutinho rejected us yesterday. Well, Coutinho and Barcelona would prefer a permanent deal away from the club, but Tottenham are more inclined to go for a loan because they just don't have the funds at the moment to sign him. And anyway, if we were going to get him on loan, it would cost us about £20 million to have him for the year, which is an exorbitant fee for a 12-month loan deal. So I think it is best at the moment that the Coutinho deal is forgotten about, and we try and focus on these 3 deals that we could see completed today. Ian Richards saying, any official reveals from the club yet, or is it too early in the morning for that? It is a bit too early for that, I suppose. There haven't been any confirmations this morning, but it feels as though the Ryan Sessegnon deal will be completed as soon as possible. Then they move on to Lo Celso. That seems to be just the medical left. Personal terms are not expected to be an issue, and we could see that done maybe by about 11 or 12. And then, as Luke de Jong is asking here, Dybala will be the main focus for Tottenham from then on. Now, as I said, according to the BBC and a number of other sources, the image rights in that deal, which was expected to be a big problem, doesn't seem to be a problem anymore. Apparently, that has been agreed. Image Star were asking for about £21 million from Tottenham for, I'm not sure exactly what it is they do, but I know they're a big part of this deal. They were asking for about £21 million, but apparently a deal has been agreed for about £17 million. And Daniel Noble saying, are you still confident in the Dybala deal? Right now I am. Waking up this morning, I was a bit apprehensive. I was watching Sky Sports News from about 7, and they were talking about the Tottenham signings. They only really mentioned Lo Celso and Sessegnon, but over the last half an hour or so, they have started mentioning Paulo Dybala. Sky Sports' Paul Gilmore is at Hotspur Way, of course, covering the ongoings there for Sky Sports, and he has now started mentioning Paulo Dybala. So maybe they have some unconfirmed reports that this is actually true. But I'm pretty excited for this. Now I see Tottenham Reese here asking about Husai. So we heard on, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, that Tottenham were interested in signing a right back following the injuries suffered by Juan Foyt and Serge Aurier over the summer. The initial reports were that we were interested in Hiraki Sakai from Marseille. That was earlier in the summer, but apparently on Monday we had identified Elseid Husai as a potential signing for the right back position. Now Husai is a 25-year-old Albanian right back who plays with Napoli. I don't think this is one that we'll see go through today, unfortunately. But of course, we heard that Daniel Levy. We heard from Pochettino that Daniel Levy was in Miami over the last week or so. I don't know if he's still there, but if he is, I think that's relevant because we all thought he was there to complete a Coutinho deal because Barcelona were playing in Miami, but the team Barcelona were playing last night was Napoli, and LC Husai was part of that team. So if Daniel Levy is still in Miami, Husai is there too. So maybe something will go on there. But personally, I'm not too confident of this deal going ahead. Luke de Jong asking predictions which player will go for the Spurs. I think Lo Celso and Sessegnon they seem to be done. It seems to be just the final details of that. Lo Celso flew into London overnight. It wasn't the plane that flew from Seville to London last night. It was early evening last night. there were a lot of Tottenham fans tracking the plane that left near Seville to go to London, but that was actually Victor Camarasa, who left Betis to join Crystal Palace on loan. But it was actually done overnight. Lo Celso flew to London, and it feels like this is going to be happening today. And I see Tottenham saying your mic keeps making a weird sound. I know the mic is a bit crackly. There's nothing I can do about it. It's just the software that I'm using. I'm getting a mic very soon, so that will improve in the upcoming live streams. But I apologise for the sound. There's nothing I can do about it at the moment. Now, BH says, well, bro, fix your mic. There's nothing I can do about it at the moment. I have bought a new mic, but I don't have it yet. It's just the software I'm using. There's nothing I can do about the sound. And Luke Young saying, by the way, I came from Holland. Thanks for watching, everyone watching the live stream. Now, I'm giving away a jersey at the moment. There's a video up on my channel from Sunday that can explain how you can win that jersey. Now, for everyone who's watching this right now, if we can get this live stream to 200 likes before I finish, I will give away a second jersey. So if you are watching, make sure to hit that like button if you are enjoying it, and if you do want to be in with a chance of winning a jersey. Also, make sure you share this out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you want. I will try to get this to 200 likes, and if we do, I'll be picking someone randomly from the live chat, and you can win a free Tottenham jersey. So make sure to hit that like button, and if you are new here, subscribe to the channel as well for more content like this if you are enjoying this. Joshua Humphrey is saying, every fan at the moment is like Tottenham aren't signing Giovanni Lo Celso, Sessegnon and Dybala, and as soon as we sign them, they'll be like they aren't winning trophies then. There does seem to be that mindset around Tottenham at the moment that these players just aren't going to sign. It's just not going to happen. It's say the important one here. Daniel Noble saying, Sky Sports pundit said that there were unconfirmed reports that Dybala is in London. Now that is a potentially a very big development. It does feel to me like this deal is going to happen. Dybala, again, he played with Juventus last night. He did score a goal, but very interestingly, we know he's a sweetheart in the eyes of the Juventus fans. They absolutely adore him, and they would be disappointed to see him go. But last night, playing in his friendly, PSG's club captain Giorgio Chiellini was on the pitch for the majority of the game, but Paulo Dybala had the captain's armband. And again, those Instagram posts where he's hugging the players appeared potentially to be a goodbye. So I think very interesting from that perspective that Dybala did have the captain's armband, and when you would expect the club captain to have it. So there are so many things that seem to point to this going ahead. Now, All Things Spurs Twitter account, and again, I'm sorry, I know these often don't work out very well, but All Things Spurs has been absolutely spot on all window. They were the first to talk about this loan deal for Lo Celso rather than a permanent deal. He called that loan deal. There was so many different things he's called about Eriksen attracting interest from Atletico Madrid. Now, he has been reporting all overnight, very dedicated to this, that he first of all said early last night that the image rights were a big problem, but apparently overnight Daniel Levy did find those funds, and as I say, a deal agreed for the image rights company. And he's just said here on Twitter, it's all systems go for Dybala. So this genuinely looks like it's going to happen, and it could be sooner than I was expecting. So apparently it's all systems go for Paulo Dybala. Adam Sharp saying, or first of all, Ross saying, Ornstein just got a text as he was live on radio saying, yes, Dybala is close indeed. It looks like it's happening. There's so many things pointing towards this, and I can't believe I'm actually saying it, but it looks like Tottenham are about to sign Paulo Dybala. Adam Sharp saying, if Dybala does sign, what would be Tottenham's starting 11, do you think? Tottenham Reese was also asking me about this. I think, I'm not sure if there is going to be a set starting 11. This is what I've been saying all along. I think the fact that we're bringing in all these players, there'll be a lot of rotation in the squad. I don't think we're going to see 11 players that we can absolutely say these are going to start unless there's an injury or a suspension or anything like that. I do think we're going to see a lot of rotation. There will be a few players, of course, who are prioritised in that squad, like Harry Kane, probably Paulo Dybala when he joins. And I say when, optimistically, but I think this is it. Players like Ndombele and either Alderweireld or Vertonghen in centre-back, I think will be prioritised. I do think it'll be a 4-2-3-1 system this season. We tried out the 4-1-2-1-2 with a diamond in midfield over the pre-season, and it hasn't worked out too well. But as I keep saying, that can be kind of blamed on the inexperience we had in the full-back positions, which is, of course, a very important part of that system. So I do think it will be a 4-2-3-1, and with Dybala coming in, I imagine he will be a big part of that team. Now, there's a few bits of news coming in from other Premier League teams today. There's one very, very strange deal from Manchester City. Scott Carson, the almost 40-year-old goalkeeper, is on his way to Manchester City to have a medical ahead of a season-long loan deal from Derby. And we've seen a lot of these weird deals over the last couple of years. I know Rob Green signed for Chelsea last season, But an absolutely bonkers one coming out of Man City that they're signing Scott Carson on loan. I don't know why they would go ahead and do that. I know they left Arianet Moric out on loan to some championship team, potentially Nottingham Forest. So they do need a keeper, but it's strange that it's Scott Carson and a season-long loan deal. Sylvester Vlogs here saying, have you ever been to a Tottenham match before? I have. I've been really lucky to get over 9 or 10 times now, as most recently at the Champions League win against Borussia Dortmund at Wembley. And I was lucky enough to get to a few games at White Hart Lane, including the last game there. So I've been really lucky in the games that I've gotten over to. Nicholas saying this could be an awesome day, and it absolutely could, and I really feel as though it will be. Morning Darren Cook. Sid saying, please Levy buy Dybala. Romario saying, I think Spurs will stick with the diamond forward as Dybala had one of his best seasons playing alongside Higuain as a 2. Where will Dybala play? That's not something I've taken into account. That is a good point. I think Dybala sees himself as a number 10. I know there's a lot of financial reasons and footballing reasons as well that he didn't go to Manchester United, but one of the reasons was that United do predominantly play in a 4-3-3, and there's no space for a number 10 there, and that's where Dybala wants to play. It's where he sees himself playing. So I think potentially as a number 10. Now, it does seem like Christian Eriksen will be staying at Tottenham this season unless something materialises over the next couple of days. I know Atletico Madrid are apparently interested in him, but from Real Madrid's point of view, that seems to be completely off. We know Manchester United pulled out of the deal with Christian Eriksen because they felt his heart was set on Real Madrid. Now, with Real Madrid, they've had an offer turned down for Paul Pogba. They offered £27 million plus James Rodriguez, which United turned down, kind of laughed off. Real Madrid are also close to signing Danny van de Beek from Ajax. It seems as though that deal is done, but they're trying to get a few other deals through first. But it feels like they will get Danny van de Beek, and they are now just in talks with PSG to sign Neymar. There's massive news that broke late last night. Former Barcelona player, of course. Neymar could be going to Real Madrid this summer. Mark Chadwick is saying Dybala not signing for Spurs, United playing 4-2-3-1. Well, it seems as though he is. As I say, all these things now pointing towards it, and I'm keeping an eye here on a few things. I had the Sky Sports Transfer Centre open, and I'm also keeping an eye on Fabrizio Romano, his Twitter. He's of course the independent journalist, I think, who works a bit with Sky Italy, who first broke the story that Tottenham were in talks with Juventus, then that a deal had been agreed, and it's waiting to see his confirmation that this deal is in fact going to go ahead. But as of yet, there's nothing. I'm still waiting from the Sky Sports Transfer Centre. Steve Roughhead saying, hope Dybala gets done, and also this Husai 1-2 could be the best transfer window we've ever had. And it's so true. Like, I've been making a lot of these videos, and I've been trying to stay optimistic all along. We heard at the start of the window we were being promised so much. Then as it went on into the last couple of weeks, we were thinking it's just going to be another typical window, and it just wouldn't happen for us. But over the last couple of days, there's been so many developments, and it's just so exciting, and it's personally, I'm glad it's over today. Like, it's just been too much, to be honest. So much excitement, then disappointment, then frustration, then more excitement, and then more disappointment. It seems to be an endless cycle, but hopefully we'll end on the excitement side of things. Sid's saying we also need a right defender, and we are apparently also kind of monitoring the situation with Atal at Nice. Youssouf Atal, he's a right back. He's 23 years old, plays for Nice and the Algerian national team. He's a good player. There's been small links throughout the window trying the same as LZ Husai, but at the moment it doesn't seem like that will be going ahead. Tottenham are prioritising the other deals, and it doesn't seem like we will be bringing in a right back, which isn't ideal. You know, our right back is probably the only position in our starting 11 that isn't at the strongest that it might be as it should be. And with the likes of Sergio Aurier and Juan Foyth injured, it looks like there will be a lot of dependence on Kyle Walker-Peters come the start of the season. Now, I see Harry1561 here saying Sissoko can fill in as right back. I personally don't think that will happen. He's a great player, and he does have a lot of abilities both defensively and going forward. But personally, I don't feel as though he'd have the... I'm not sure I just don't think he has what it takes to be a right back. You know, it's a very different position, and no matter what you have to be really acclimatised to playing in that position. And I don't think it's time to just put him straight in there. And I think Kyle Walker-Peters will have an important part to play at the start of this season. Luvo saying, hey Matt, just joined, what's up to Dybala? So as I've said, it looks like the Dybala deal is going to go ahead. According to the BBC and a number of other sources, including a very, very reliable Twitter in the know called All Things Spurs, this Dybala deal, it's all systems go. The image rights issue has been solved. Tottenham have agreed a deal with Imagestar worth about £17 million on top of the 64 we're paying for Dybala, and then personal terms, wages believed to be in and around £250,000 a week. It seems like everything is done bar the medical in this one, and we could very well see Paulo Dybala at Hotspur Way very soon. And there's someone said earlier in the chat, there are, according to Sky Sports, there are unconfirmed reports that Paulo Dybala is in London. So we'll wait to see how that one progresses over the next couple of hours. Carl Calais has saying we need Sissoko in the middle, not as a fullback. Lil Flot saying Foyth could be right back when he gets fit again, and that's true. I think that's probably where Pochettino was looking to, who he's looking to play at right back this season. As someone asking there about the Nice right back, Darren Wolsey, it doesn't look like that will happen. Yusuf Attal, I think it's just too late in the window for these deals to progress. We haven't heard anything with regards to the clubs being in talks or any fees being agreed. And I think with how much Tottenham need to put on the rest, how much they need to focus on the other deals, it doesn't feel like there will be time to get these little ones done. So I feel like right back will probably be a weak position for us this season, but ultimately I do think it's good. Ian Richardson saying, do we reckon they'll announce each of Lo Celso and Dybala as soon as they've signed, or will they announce them as a pair like Ardiles and Ricky Villa for posterity's sake? It'll be interesting to see, because it's not often you sign 3 players in a day, and I feel like there is potential there for a really good announcement video. And as you say, it could be trying to, making this the modern day Ardiles and Villa. So, I mean, it could happen that they're announced together. I do feel that at Sessegnon, we could get an announcement any minute from Tottenham about Sessegnon. But as you say, the two, Lo Celso and Dybala, could be announced together. Universal Gamer saying, good to see you guys are keeping Eriksen, but yeah, Dybala has an issue with images or something. And again, that's something we weren't expecting Eriksen to say at the club. We heard that interview he did at the Denmark training camp earlier on, where he said, look, he's looking for a new challenge and he'd only go for a step up. But all the different teams that seem to have been interested, they seem to have turned their attention elsewhere. And we know Eriksen left the door open for if he does say that he may sign a new contract. But personally, I just don't think that he is going to be there for the long term. If he does sign a new contract, it will be to go next summer. Now, Darren saying, get rid of Eriksen. Heard we are still talking to Sporting Lisbon. Sporting, the last we heard of that we are in talks. We haven't heard anything about the talks ending there. But as I said, according to Sky Sports, Bruno Fernandes' agent met with the Sporting Lisbon president yesterday, and they agreed that Fernandes would only leave the club if a team paid £70 million up front, which is his release clause. That doesn't seem that it would be something that Daniel Levy would be willing to do. He likes these different structured deals, and it doesn't look like it will be happening, unfortunately. Ross saying, it's crazy comparing the comment section to your videos from a few months ago to now. You're getting some crazy support, and it's awesome to see. I appreciate that comment, Ross, and it is, I do mean it when I say thanks to all of you for the support you're giving me. I didn't think my channel would ever be at this level when I started a few months ago, so for everyone who is watching, I do appreciate it. Musa Sissoko saying, Eriksen can still go, the other windows are still open after today, which is true, and potentially that is why we are seeing 2 attacking midfielders come in, Lo Celso and Dybala, if Tottenham are expecting Eriksen to go over the next month or so. Atletico Madrid seems to be the most likely destination at the moment, which I wouldn't say is a step up, it's more of a step across, but it could be the best thing for Christian Eriksen at the moment. Shamir is saying, Eriksen says that Real Madrid is a step up, but with all these signings hopefully happening, our team will be a different level. Cameron Williams saying, Sporting rejected €65 million bid, including instalments for Bruno Fernandes. It may be deadline day, but I highly doubt Eriksen will leave. If he doesn't sign a new deal, he's going to be a freebie, so Liverpool will have to jump on it in quick time. That's Universal Gamer. I don't think Tottenham will let him go for free. If he doesn't go this summer, he will sign a new contract and he will be sold next summer. But I think ideally it is probably best to just let him go now and sort out the squad for the long term at the moment. Now, M. Sylvester's vlogs is saying, name me the 22-man squad. Fake fan. Well, I'm absolutely not a fake fan. I could name the 22-man squad, but I'd lose viewers, so I'm not going to do it now. Ian Richardson saying, Bruno Fernandes is Di Maria with a makeup team. Glad he's probably not coming to my club of stunners. Well, I mean, Fernandes, his stats in the Liga NOS last year were absolutely unbelievable. And I know it's the Portuguese league, but as a centre attacking midfielder, he played 31 games and he scored 23 goals and got 17 assists. So the stats are absolutely amazing. But it is a big step up from the Portuguese league to the Premier League. But it's looking like it's not going to happen at the moment. Jamie Buckley saying apparently we are loaning Lo Celso and signing next year, and that does seem to be the case. We have agreed a deal with Betis to sign him. Now, according to Sky Sports, it is about £55.5 million, but there's a number of other sources, including some Twitter in the knows, who have been very reliable over the window, who are claiming that this deal we'd sign him on a season-long loan deal for about €16 million now, but there'd be in that contract an obligation to buy next summer for about 40 million. So that's where the £55 million is coming from. Now, essentially what this does is, for Tottenham, we obviously sign a good player. He's going to be there next season no matter what. I think it is interesting that this would probably add a year onto his time at Tottenham, because when he signs a contract next year, it'll be the same contract but just a year further on, and we have him on loan. It also frees up a lot of money for us to pursue other deals like Dybala and Sessegnon. So it does seem like it is a very good deal for both clubs. For Betis, they have a clause in the Lo Celso contract that means they have to give 20% of any profit they make on the sale of the player to PSG, and by doing this, they're reducing the amount they're making by about 16 million, so they have to give less money to PSG. So it is better for them. And I see M Sylvester Vlogs here saying send pictures of the games you've been to. I absolutely won't, but what I will do is I will block you from the chat. Hamish Poole saying, who will be our starting right back for the majority of the season, do you think? I imagine it will be Juan Foyth. I know he's injured at the moment, but when he comes back, it does seem like he's Pochettino's long-term solution to this problem. We know Pochettino has spoken to him kind of in training individually, where he's asked him about his future in right back, and Foyth did really well with Argentina during the Copa America. So it does feel like he could be our right back for the season ahead. And Kai Cal7 is saying, do you think Dybala will join? And I do. I think this is one that could only be hours away from completion. Again, we've heard that the image rights problem has been solved. That's according to BBC and a number of other sources. It does feel like this one is only a matter of time. And it's absolutely ridiculous, because like, this is Paulo Dybala. I still haven't quite got my head around it, because when this first broke last week, I was a bit optimistic. I was obviously very apprehensive, but I never saw this deal progress into where it was now. I thought it was a good statement from the club that they were in talks to sign him, and that it was a good thing for the club that we were being legitimately linked to a player of this quality. And then on Monday or Tuesday, I think it was, when this news broke that we'd agreed a deal, it was crazy. Like, and I still can't quite believe that we are so close to signing a player of this quality. And I know it's not done yet, and there could be a few stumbling blocks still, but I do think this is one that we will see done. 7.5 hours left now, and of course, if we get a deal sheet in before 5, we'll extend the deadline by 2 hours. So this could potentially be a really big one this window. Jesse Munoz saying, who will be benched for the new signings? I imagine Dele Alli might suffer from this because of his inconsistency over the last couple of seasons, but I think there will be a lot of rotation that we'll see throughout the team, and I don't think any player will be left out of the team so much that they do leave. I see Alex Ashley, and you're right, mate, you look really upset. I'm not upset, I'm just really tired. I was up to like 3 o'clock last night keeping an eye on these transfers, and I was up again at 7 this morning. So I'm pretty tired, but I'm not upset at all. I'm delighted with what's going on in the window. Steve Ruffhead has said they have been well and truly levied. Kai saying, what about Lo Celso? That deal looks done. An imminent announcement, I'm sure. Lo Celso is in London at the moment, undergoing a medical deal agreed with Betis last night for about £55 million. As I said, an initial loan deal, and then we'll sign him next summer. There's an obligation to buy, so there's no potential for that deal to fall apart over the season. It looks like it will be done. Personal terms aren't expected to be a problem. As I said, medical in London today. Fire Reaper saying, do you think Tottenham needs a new centre-back? At the moment we don't, because we have managed to keep hold of Toby Alderweireld. We were worried that the release clause in his contract would... I would say, is there something breaking at the moment? We heard the release clause in his contract of £25 million. We were really concerned that he would be gone, but it looks like he will be staying for this season and probably leaving on a free next summer. So at the moment I don't think we need a centre-back. I do think that is something that we will address next summer, when kind of the funds are there more, because we could potentially be spending over £100 million today alone, and we've already spent over 70 million on Ndombele and Jack Clark. Abdullah Arman saying, just joined, is Dybala happening? It looks like it is. The image rights deal seems to have been done, and we could see this done over the next couple of hours. 2K19 Lee saying, Neymar to Real, thoughts? Personally, I was shocked by this. I know Real Madrid have made it clear that they were interested in the player over the last year or so, but I never thought anything would materialise, because as a player who's with Barcelona and who wants to return to Barcelona, I thought a deal to Real Madrid would be really unlikely. But look, Real Madrid have now entered talks. They have a month to get this deal done. From Barcelona's point of view, they don't seem to have the funds to do it. They are, of course, trying to generate these funds. They've sold Malcolm to Zenit for about 40 million, and by the fact that they pulled out of that Coutinho loan deal to Tottenham, it does seem like they are prioritising a permanent move away for Coutinho, which could see them bring in about £80 million. And also players such as Ivan Rakitic and Ousmane Dembele are on the transfer list and could leave this season. So it looks like they're also trying to get Neymar, and there could be a really good tug of war there. But from Neymar's point of view, I do feel as though if he had a choice of the two, he would choose Barcelona. And I do think if Barcelona get that money in, it is a more viable option for them because of the amount of money Real Madrid have already spent this window, signing the likes of Eden Hazard, Luka Jovic, Ferland Mendy, and Ben Hooker saying too, if Neymar goes to Real Madrid, he'll be the most hated footballer alive, which could be true. I mean, you can understand that he wants to go back to the La Liga. He went to the French league for money, and I don't think anyone has ever disagreed with that. Going to PSG, obviously they're a good team, they win trophies, but they're never going to offer anything in Europe because they just don't have the quality, and they have too much in the French league. They're going to win it every year, so it did feel like he went there for money, but now he's making that decision to go back to Spain, potentially to Real Madrid, potentially to Barcelona, which I'm sure is a footballing decision. Lee saying Levy said he wants at least 4 signings today. I haven't seen anything about that, but I mean, if it is, I imagine it would be Sessegnon, Lo Celso, Dybala, and maybe a right back if that is possible. Shamir saying, do you think Lo Celso and Dybala will do well in the Premier League? I really do. It may be me being optimistic, but I do think that they will both do well. Dybala is a player who, he's very similar to the likes of Eden Hazard. I know he's playing in a bit of a different position, but also like Philippe Coutinho. He's a physically small player, but it's that creative spark that he has. I think he'll do well, and Lo Celso as well. Tarek saying, if I see Dybala holding that shirt, I still wouldn't believe we signed him. Owen Devon saying, hearing Dybala personal terms agreed, just image rights to go. It looks like the image rights are done as well. This is again according to the BBC and a number of other sources. Tottenham have apparently agreed a deal worth about £17 million with Image Star, and it looks like we will see Dybala joining today. Logan saying Villa want Ben Yedder, with Sam Ben Yedder as a striker for Sevilla. That would be a great signing for them. It's your guy 101 saying, I've heard Lo Celso was loan with obligations to buy, and we have found the money for Dybala, image rights, all things Spurs. Yeah, everything you said there seems to be true. Lo Celso is a loan to make Betis have to pay less money to PSG, but also to potentially free up funds for Tottenham to complete that Dybala deal. Now Mark Chadwick is saying Dybala wants 350k a week, Spurs can't afford it. That's not true. Dybala wanted 350k a week when he's going to Manchester United, mainly because of that drop down to the Europa League he'd have to make, but with Tottenham he's only looking for about 250 grand a week. At the moment with Juventus he's only on 175k a week, so it is still a massive step up for him in terms of wages, but Tottenham personal terms have been agreed, £250,000 a week. That is not a problem. Jamie Buckley saying, what would be a 10 out of 10 window for you right now? I think everything that looks likely to happen would be a 10 out of 10 window. Keeping Eriksen, Alderweireld and Rose, and getting in Dembele, Lo Celso and Dybala, it's potentially the best window we could possibly have imagined. Hamish Poole saying, if you would sign either Dybala or Lo Celso, who would you choose? I'd choose Dybala. I know Pochettino might prefer the Lo Celso signing, but I feel like Dybala is just a much better player. I think I would choose him. Silver Surfer saying, who is the most player coming in today according to you? I would assume Sessegnon is the most likely, then followed by Lo Celso and then Dybala. Lee saying, I've seen a source saying Tottenham, we just need to sort out image rights for Dybala. Again, it looks like it's done, potentially because according to the BBC a £17 million deal has been agreed. Hassan Ahmed saying, why do you never avoid... I'm not avoiding anybody's questions, and don't call me racist because I'm not a racist. I don't avoid anyone's questions. I read out the questions that I see in the chat. They're coming through quite quickly. I read out as many as I can. So if I don't get your question, I do apologise. I will try and get to as many as I can, but please don't call me a racist because I'm absolutely not a racist. Logan Selvey saying Dybala would be a class signing for Spurs, and he would. It's a player, again, he had a disappointing season with Juventus last season, but we can't ignore the seasons that he had before that. He's a world-class player and someone who, the fact that Juventus fans are so disappointed to see him go kind of proves the quality that he has and just how important he is to them. And if we can get a player like that into Tottenham, absolutely massive. Harris saying, so Kane gets 200k and Dybala will get 250k. I don't think that's right. I don't think Kane will have a problem with that. He seems to be so dedicated to Tottenham. I don't think wages is his ultimate, what he's aiming for at the club. And Dybala probably is a bigger player than Harry Kane. I wouldn't say a better player, but he's a bigger player. I think Kane will be okay with it, and we'll probably soon see Kane's wages upgraded again, because we do seem to be making that transition now where we're going to break that wage structure, and I imagine it's only a matter of time before Kane is on par or even higher than Dybala. Jamal Hassan saying, what do you think of Man United? Where do we think we're going to finish? New subscriber, by the way, keep it up. Thanks for subscribing. I think United will get into the top four. I think it's Chelsea and Arsenal who will miss out this season. United, they seem to be doing okay in the transfer window. They signed, of course, Wan-Bissaka, Harry Maguire and Daniel James. If they do get in Mario Mandzukic, I think that would be a good signing. I don't think losing Romelu Lukaku will be the worst thing for them, because he's not that big a player for them. He isn't a particularly important part of their team. So I think they'll be okay this season. Darren Fearon saying, yeah, Dybala is a bigger name. Darren Wolsey saying, do you think Eriksen will leave? At this stage, I don't think he will. I'm a bit concerned about his future with the fact that Lo Celso and Dybala could be coming in. But I just don't think there's enough legitimate interest from any European teams at the moment for him to come into the club, for him to leave the club. So I think we will actually see him staying this summer. The Pride of Gothenburg saying, is Ryan going to play with us this season or send back? It does seem like he will be a Tottenham player for this season. He is obviously a very young player who would probably benefit from a loan move back to Fulham, but it doesn't seem like something Pochettino is willing to do. Now, I know he plays predominantly as a left back with Fulham, but it doesn't seem like he's coming into Tottenham as a left back. It's probably more him coming in playing a more advanced role, and he wouldn't be a first team player this season. I imagine there could potentially be a loan back, but there hasn't been any reports about it yet. But look, he's a young player, and I don't think we can underestimate the status of this signing, because we tried to sign him last year, but obviously with being promoted to the Premier League with Fulham, he wanted to stay there and try and help them, and he was disappointing in the league because he was playing in a team that had just signed a load of new players. It was really disjointed, and then 3 different managers throughout the season. It was quite difficult for him to get going, and he did have a few goals and assists, so I think it will be a better season for him this year. DJ Samuel saying, has Dybala had a medical yet? He hasn't yet, but again, I imagine it'll be the next couple of hours. Hardeep saying, who will be the signing of the summer? I just subscribed. Again, thanks for subscribing. Dybala would be the signing of the summer, and I don't even think that's just for Tottenham. I think for the Premier League as a whole, and potentially in Europe, Dybala could be one of the best signings in terms of how much he'll improve a team. Like, you look at United signing Maguire, sure, he's a great player, but he's not going to improve them that much. He's definitely not worth 80 million. Real Madrid signing Eden Hazard, again, massive signing, massive fee, but Real Madrid are good enough as it is. I don't think he's going to have a big impact on them, but I think Dybala could be that player for us who brings us onto another level and kind of spurs us on to win a trophy. So I think he could actually be one of the best signings in the world this summer if Tottenham can get that through. Jamal Hassan saying, what do you think if we signed Eriksen? I imagine you're a United fan. I'd be quite annoyed if you did get Eriksen. We never want to sell to one of our top 6 rivals, but it looks like United have pulled out of that deal because Eriksen wants to go to Madrid. So I don't think it will happen, but if it did, I'd be quite upset. But I'd rather sell him to ye than let him go for free next summer, to be honest. Thomas D. Roberts saying, the loan deal for Lo Celso helps us fund the image rights for Dybala, which is true, and again, it's also a good deal for Betis. So it's an absolute genius deal if this is true, and it helps us get Dybala over the line because it massively benefits both teams. Devraj Chandarana saying, to be honest, I don't want Dybala if he doesn't want to sign for Tottenham. All he cares for is money. I don't think it is at the stage where he just wants money. I mean, if he did want money, he would be a Man United player now. It seems to be like he does want a wage increase, but it's not the be all and end all for him. Otherwise, he would be at United. I think this is genuinely a footballing decision for him to join Tottenham. Obviously, linking up with his compatriot Mauricio Pochettino, who is absolutely massive in Argentina. I think this is a footballing decision. Tottenham Reece saying, I like how we get Dybala for £63 million and United get Maguire for £80 million, and again, crazy deal that United completed. Pedro saying, Serge Aurier, does he have a future? I think this season is make it or break it for him. As I said, I think Foyth would be the starting right back, but if Aurier doesn't make it this season, he'll probably be shipped out next summer. Pancake99 saying, Matt, any news on outgoings? There doesn't seem to be, aside from Anima going to Fulham in that deal to sign Sessegnon. We are expecting a few developments with Wanyama and a few other players, but it doesn't look like that will be happening. Luvo saying, we definitely need a trophy with all these guys coming in, which is true. Lee is saying, Dybala said he wants to play for Tottenham, which is massive. Joshua Humphreys, wait, so Lo Celso is a loan. Lo Celso is a loan initially, but in the contract there's an obligation to buy, so no matter what, we will sign him next summer. It's an initial loan deal, but for all intents and purposes, he will be a Tottenham player from today. Hassan Ahmed saying Lo Celso and Dybala are good friends, so I think that will help Dybala come along with other Argentinians at the club. Now that's true. There's a good Argentinian kind of faction at the club with already Pochettino, Gazzaniga, Foyth, Lamela in there, and if the likes of Lo Celso and Dybala come in, that'll be massive for those players kind of getting used to it. It's your guy 101 saying FA Cup inbound, and I think that should be our priority for this season. I don't think we're at a level where we can compete with the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool for the Premier League. So top four should be our priority in the league this summer, and having made it to the Champions League final last year, I don't think that's something we will do again. So I do feel as though a domestic cup is probably our best option for success this season. Kai is saying Foyth is injured and Aurier, who would be our right back for the first few games? It would have to be Kyle Walker-Peters. There's no other option, to be honest, because as you say, the two injuries for them. People saying Sissoko could drop into the right back position, but I just don't think it is a very realistic solution, to be honest. He's a great player, but I don't think it is. I think start of this season it would be Kyle Walker-Peters. Tom Austin saying aiming low then. I wouldn't say we're aiming low. I think it's more realistic, because if you look now at like City, even having bought Rodri and João Cancelo, I think they're going to walk the league again. I don't even think Liverpool will have enough to compete with them. And Champions League, Barcelona have strengthened, Real Madrid have strengthened. I think just being realistic, I don't think it's aiming low. I think it's aiming realistic. The Pride of Gothenburg say I think Eric Lamela and Dele Alli will have great seasons. Dele will be further up the pitch, and Eric seems to be very fit. And also, this competition of these new players coming in will make them have to play better. And while adding depth is good for when we get things like injuries and stuff, it also adds a lot of competition, which is so much better. And I see a few people here saying Groggers, Kai, and a few others saying Dybala or Giovanni Lo Celso is having a medical now at Tottenham. That's according to Hotspur Related on Twitter. So let's have a quick look at that, if I can find it. Hotspur Related. Now, okay, coming from Hotspur Related, they've referenced Sky Sports here saying Tottenham Hotspur target Paulo Dybala is rumoured to be in London. That's crazy. And according to the BBC, we're now very close to an agreement. Oh, this is absolutely crazy. Paulo Dybala. Oh my god, I still can't believe this is happening. He's an unbelievable player, and he's actually coming to Tottenham. It's crazy. Fo Jamal saying, why did Trippier go to Atletico for a really cheap price? Also, why sell him? I don't think it was a cheap price. Fullbacks don't usually go for that much money. They're not the best players in the world, and they're not seen as players who will bring in a lot of funds. We sold him because he had a really disappointing season last year, and now Trippier himself said there was things going on behind the scenes that forced him to leave the club. But I feel he just wasn't good enough, and Pochettino knew that he just didn't have what it takes to be our right back for the season ahead, and it's probably best to just let him go, get a few funds in, and use that to bring in some new players. I mean, essentially, when you look at it, Trippier could have funded the Sessegnon deal almost entirely. So I think it was a good deal to let him go. We do have 3 right backs still at the club. I think we're okay there. Aliari saying only Walker-Peters will be available for the first few weeks as right back. What a blow that will be for the matches against City and Arsenal. Which is true, but I mean, Walker-Peters, he has had some good appearances, good performances at the club. So I wouldn't rule out him having a few good games already, but no, it is a blow, but it's not the end of the world. Pride of Gothenburg saying great job, Matt. Thanks, I appreciate it. And again, a few people saying Dybala is in London. Unknown saying is Sessegnon done? It seems like we're just awaiting confirmation. It feels like it will be done. Shamir Jelani is saying, to be honest, Levy took too long with these deals. Poch should experiment the formation with new signings in pre-season, and that is the general feeling. Pochettino wanted the deals done earlier. Levy wanted to let them go on longer and get them for cheaper, which essentially he seems to have done that. He seems to have gotten these players for a lot cheaper than we would have expected. So it feels like Levy has done what he wanted to do. Now, Tom asked him with a good question, have Juve replaced Dybala? And it feels like there's going to be a sort of domino effect at the moment. So we heard from Sky Sports this morning last night that Inter Milan had agreed a deal with Manchester United to sign Romelu Lukaku. Now, that deal is worth about £65 million initially, with £12 million in add-ons. Lukaku arrived in Turin about 2 o'clock this morning, and he's undergone a medical. And that deal, it seems like they're just going through the formalities at the moment, and he will be done. Now, what that could trigger is a move from Mauro Icardi to go to Juventus. We know that Antonio Conte doesn't want Icardi at Inter Milan this season, and he's actively looking to let him go. Juventus, our team, have been mentioned as a potential destination for him. And in terms of outgoing at Juventus, Mario Mandzukic could be going to Manchester United, and of course it looks like Paulo Dybala will be joining Tottenham. So if that Lukaku deal to Inter Milan gets done as quickly as possible, essentially that could make Icardi go to Juventus, and then Dybala could come to us. So there could be a domino effect that could be triggered there very soon. So they haven't replaced him yet, but I don't think they even need to replace him because they have so many options up there. I know they've also let go of Moise Kean, but they've like the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, Federico Bernardeschi, and a few other attacking players there who are really good. But getting in Mauro Icardi could be what it takes for them to give the go ahead to this deal. Kurt is saying, quality content, Matt. Been here about a week. Keep it up, mate. I appreciate it. Owen Devon saying, Levy might be taking a while, but I trust him. The man's a genius with grinding down prices, and it's so true. And I think it's probably a good sign that, honestly, this is the first live stream I've had where there hasn't been people saying Levy out, back potch, and all this stuff. This is the first live stream I've had when all the comments coming through from Tottenham fans have been positive, and I think that tells you all you need to know. The Levy out army, they're in a bad position at the moment, and I think they've been not proven wrong. I mean, no one is wrong in the situation, it's their opinion, but I feel like they will now be converted to maybe Levy is the right man for bringing this team forward. I can't read your name there, but Eriksen, Dele, Son, Lucas, Eric, Lamela, Dybala, Lo Celso, isn't it too much for 3 starting? It's not too much because we need that sort of diversity. We need the depth in there, and it's unbelievable that we may well have those options in there. But I do feel with Dybala and Lo Celso coming in, we may see a departure there. And the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking Eriksen might go this summer. Luvo was saying, from now on we need to try keep our best players and add on them from next season. Quality and depth from defence, mid and forwards. And it is true, we that seems to be the main thing that we're doing at the moment. We're not, well, I suppose in the last 2 or so years we haven't brought in big players, but we've kept a hold of the team that we've had. And while last season was a disappointing window, we didn't sign anyone, it was so important that we didn't sell anyone either. So I think it is a good window, because a better window, because we are keeping hold of the players that we have, as you say. But Serie A can deal transfers until September. I think that is true. The European windows are open until the 2nd of September, so a lot of deals can still go ahead there. I saw a comment there a second ago. Steve Ruffhead saying, Dybala turned down Man United for us and took a pay cut to join us, so he believes in the club and the project. So let's have some success. Christ knows we've waited long enough for it, and it's so true. As I said, Dybala hasn't turned down United because of money. He's getting 100 grand a week less with us, so I think it's a lot more than a financial decision, is a footballing decision. And I see Delboy here asking, Matt, have I missed much? Just a quick recap. Tottenham agreed a deal earlier this morning to sign Ryan Sessegnon from Fulham. It's a deal believed to be worth about £25 million, with add-ons rising up to £30 million, and Joshua Onuma will be going in the other direction. Yesterday, Tottenham agreed a deal with Real Betis to sign Giovanni Lo Celso for about £55.5 million. That deal is believed to be an initial loan deal worth £16 million, with an obligation to buy, which will see Tottenham sign the player next summer for £40 million. The Paulo Dybala deal does seem like it's going to be done before the deadline. There are multiple reports stating that his image rights problem has been solved. We've agreed a deal with Image Star worth about £17 million. And there are unconfirmed reports coming through from Sky Sports saying that... sorry, now I see a bit of news regarding an outgoing here, that Dybala is in London. And an update here from Sky Sports. Sky sources understand Tottenham defender Cameron Carter-Vickers is close to joining Stoke on loan. So I saw a few of you asking about outgoings. Cameron Carter-Vickers potentially going on loan to Stoke for the season ahead. Now Sky Sports saying Paulo Dybala's transfer from Juventus to Tottenham could go right down to the wire on deadline day. So the fact that they still think it is a possibility is encouraging. And as I said about this domino effect potentially triggered by Lukaku's departure, Romelu Lukaku was set to arrive with Inter for his medical in Milan at 11 a.m. Sky Sports News also understands Manchester United have included a sell-on clause in the deal they've agreed with the Serie A club. So potentially that Lukaku deal could go through very soon, which could trigger that domino effect, seeing Icardi going to Juventus and Dybala to Tottenham. Delboy saying Lo Celso is at Hotspur Way, flew in last night. Medical going to be going ahead very, very shortly, I would imagine. I am Lorcan, yeah, unfortunately. Steve Ruffhead said doesn't like Thursday night football, and no, I mean that's for Arsenal fans. Dybala wouldn't play Thursday night football. Luke Hunter saying Dybala played a match yesterday and scored. Dybala did play in a it was a good guess, Lorcan. I actually don't know how you knew that. Dybala did play in a pre-season friendly for Juventus yesterday, and he scored for them, and he also interestingly had the captain's armband. Now, Giorgio Chiellini was also on the pitch, and he's the club captain. So it is interesting that Dybala had the captain's armband. I don't know if it is, look, it's your last game with the club. We'll do this for you. Because on Instagram after the game as well, he posted a number of photos on his Instagram story of him hugging Giorgio Chiellini and Douglas Costa and Sami Khedira, and it was potentially a goodbye post to his teammates there. And I hope to God it was, because, as I said, if we sign Paulo Dybala, it still hasn't sunk in. And as someone said a while ago, I think it was Shamir saying, if when I see him holding up the jersey, I still don't think I believe it. And it's just sensational that this deal, not even that it's a possibility that it could actually go ahead. And now an update from Paul Gilmore regarding our right back. And I've seen a lot of you asking about Husay and Atal. From Paul Gilmore, as things stand, Spurs are unlikely to do a right back deal. As I was saying, I don't think that is something that will go ahead. According to Gilmore, faith in Foyt and Walker Peters. So now that's an interesting one. Faith is in Juan Foyt and Kyle Walker Peters. Eric Dyer has played there in the past. And an update on Serge Aurier. Aurier could yet depart to a foreign club before the end of the month. So Aurier could actually be leaving the club this summer. And I see a few comments there about Dybala. He's not in London, you muppet. No one said that. I didn't say he was in London. I said there's unconfirmed reports coming from Sky Sports that he is in London. I never said he is not in London. I wouldn't know if he's in London. There are unconfirmed reports coming through from Sky Sports that Dybala is in London. Luke Hunter saying, do you think United will get Inaki Williams? I don't think they will. He's a release clause of £81 million, and with this deal kind of starting this late in the window, I don't think it will be one that will be likely to go through. And again, United will probably struggle for those funds, having already spent upwards of £150 million in this window. I can't see that one going ahead. Harry Pizza asking what's the latest about Dybala. Again, Dybala has apparently agreed everything he needs to do in this deal. His personal terms weren't expected to be a problem. He has apparently agreed a deal worth about £250,000 a week. Any agent commissions and anything like that has been sorted, and his image rights deal, according to the BBC and a number of other sources, has been confirmed as completed. About £17 million to Image Star, so it looks like Dybala could be done very, very soon. And as I said, unconfirmed reports from Sky Sports that Paulo Dybala is in London. And a donation there for Spurs football content. Thank you. I know you donated yesterday as well. I really appreciate that support. And for anyone else, if you do want to support the channel, there's a super chat button just there under the chat. It's the little dollar sign. If you do want to support the channel, you can make a small donation there. Anything is greatly appreciated, but of course you don't have to if you don't want to. Kabir is saying, any news about Coutinho? That deal is off. Both Coutinho and Barcelona would prefer a permanent deal away from the club, and Tottenham just don't have the funds to do that now and are prioritising deals for Giovanni Lo Celso and Paulo Dybala. So as you say there, Coutinho deal is dead. Won't be happening. Wavy EU saying, where does it say he's in London? Read the article, please. There's absolutely no article I've read on the Sky Sports Transfer Centre blog. A couple of minutes ago, or maybe it was on their Twitter or something. There are unconfirmed reports that he's in that Dybala is in London. No one's saying he is. They're just unconfirmed reports that he is there. I don't know if he is. I'm not in the know. I'm a fan who's just reading these reports and giving to you what I see. So I'm not saying he's in London. And as Delboy says, it can be done in Italy anyway. And Lee here is asking, do you have Twitter? My Twitter handle is @MattHayesTHFC, or if you want to just search Matt Hayes Tottenham blog, it'll come up there as well. So @MattHayesTHFC. Harry Pizza asking what is happening with Bournemouth and Wanyama. There's been nothing about Wanyama recently. We know there was initial interest from Bournemouth, but it hasn't really developed very much. Hotspur Daily saying a plane is being tracked and has just left Turin heading to London, but I don't know. It could very well be Paulo Dybala, and as I said, he may be in London, he may not be in London. This could be him coming to London. Now, this did happen last night when a plane left a private airfield, a private jet from about 40 minutes away from Seville, flying to London. We thought it was Lo Celso, but it turned out to be Victor Camarasa, who ended up signing for Crystal Palace on loan. But it could be Dybala, and ex-Master Vortex is saying, Dybala, is he joining? It looks like he will be. As I said, the majority of the issues in that deal have been sorted out, and it looks like this deal could be very, very close to completion at the moment. Jack Parker saying, what's your opinion on the Lo Celso and Dybala? In my opinion, I'm over the moon with both of them, and I am as well. It's absolutely massive. Lo Celso as Pochettino's main target, and Dybala as the player that he is. It's absolutely sensational, and I really can't believe it's still happening. Luke Hunter saying, where do you think United will finish? I think they'll be top four along with Liverpool, City and Tottenham. I'll be putting out a video tomorrow, my Premier League predictions. I won't be going into too much depth, but I'll be taking a look at the kind of top half of the table and the relegation places. So if you do want to see that video tomorrow, make sure to subscribe down below and hit the notification bell. And as I said, if this video hits 200 likes before I stop the stream, I will be giving out another free Tottenham jersey. I'm already giving out one giveaway videos on my channel from Sunday if you want to go check that out. But if this video gets to 200 likes before I finish the live stream, I will give away another Tottenham jersey. So anyone who is watching, if you are enjoying it, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. And if you want to share it out on Twitter or Facebook, I'm trying to get more people in and get that to 200 likes as soon as possible. Groggers is saying, I hope Dybala gets number 21. Joshua Humphrey saying North London games are going to be lit. It'd be really, really exciting games. It's a great point. Preferably exciting games for us. I mean, Arsenal's defence still a bit weak. Now, where Arsenal are at the moment with their defence, they're close to completing a deal to sign David Luiz from Chelsea. It's a deal worth about £8 million for him to come in, which personally I think is absolutely bizarre. I think it's a cheap fee for him. Arsenal fans aren't particularly happy, but I think that's a great deal for them. But also Kieran Tierney is in London having a medical with Arsenal at the moment. They've agreed a deal with Celtic worth about £25 million. So unfortunately it does look like Arsenal are strengthening their defence, but it's not as strong as what it could be. Steve Ruffhead saying, let's face it, 17 million is nothing these days. That's about the Dybala image rights deal, which is really true. It's well worth paying that extra bit of money to get a player like him in. Josh Jones saying, how long are you going to be streaming? I'm going to say until at least 11 o'clock. I'll stay until 12 if I can, but it won't be much longer than that because I've work at 2 o'clock. I'm going to miss the deadline myself, but I'll stay for as long as I can. Harry Pizza saying, you think Eriksen will leave this summer? The more I think about it, the more I think he will leave later on in the European window, because bringing the two deals in for Lo Celso and Dybala, it's a lot of money, and I know there's going to be obviously less money going into that Lo Celso deal because of the initial loan, but I do think Eriksen might leave the club this summer. Aliari saying, to be honest, Lo Celso and Sessegnon is the most likely deals to be done today. Dybala deal is unlikely to complete due to many factors. At the moment that doesn't seem particularly true. It does seem like this Dybala deal is potentially going to be done very, very soon, and it's really exciting. Bruno Fernandes saying, what about the Celso deal? Lo Celso is in London at the moment. He's expected at Hotspur Way any minute now to complete a medical, and this is a deal that will be going ahead. An initial loan deal for about £16 million with an obligation to buy next summer for £40 million. Beneficial for both teams. For Tottenham, it frees up a bit of money to complete that Dybala deal, and for Real Betis, they have to give less money to PSG because they have to pay a 20% sell-on clause for the profit that they make on his sale. So I let him go for loan for about £16 million. That's drastically reducing the money they will have to give to PSG. Wavy EU saying, I want Eriksen to leave. I think he's a snake and not a vital part of the team this season. What are your thoughts? I wouldn't say he's a snake, and I don't want him to leave, but I feel like it is probably best for financial reasons. He's a player who's given a lot to us in the time he's been here, and he's stuck with us through a bit. So I wouldn't say he's a snake at all. He's someone who just wants to better his career, and we absolutely can't blame him for that. Matchday Villains here, welcome to the stream, saying you're going to watch Villa versus Spurs. I am, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts. What do you think is going to happen? Aston Villa have been absolutely sensational in this window. People saying they're going to do a Fulham, but in terms of newly promoted teams signing these players like this, Fulham are an anomaly. Every other team seems to have done well. For Aston Villa, they've brought in some players like Anwar El Ghazi and Tyrone Mings, who they had on loan last season and were so important to their team and their promotion. Villa incredibly strengthened this summer, and I do think we will see them making a push for the top half of the table, and I'd like to see them do it because I was a bit disappointed when they got relegated. You know, they're one of those teams everyone likes to see do well, apart from Birmingham fans, of course. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the game against Villa. Unfortunately, I do think we will beat you, but I'm looking forward to a good game. Esfarel saying, you can't lie even if you're a Spurs fan. Arsenal have had a fantastic window. They've had a good window, but I don't think they've had a fantastic window because they haven't strengthened their defence as much as they probably should. I think they will struggle defensively this season, but look, they've had a good window, brought in Pepe, a massive signing, and obviously Saliba as an investment for the future, and Kieran Tierney, don't get me wrong, an amazing signing, but I wouldn't say they've had a fantastic window. They've had a decent window. Luke Hunter saying Dybala didn't play well last season. Dybala had scored 5 goals in 22 appearances, I think, last season. It was a disappointing season for him. It was definitely an anomaly in his form because he did so well in the few seasons beforehand, and I think it is because of the introduction to Cristiano Ronaldo in that team. He just wasn't going to be as good as he had been in previous years because, you know, when you're playing with a player like that in the team, it's hard to be at your best when he's getting all the goals, and also other players in there like Mandzukic, Moise Kean, Federico Bernardeschi, who were just doing really, really well. Now I saw a comment there. Lo Celso has started medical according to All Things Spurs. I'm just trying to look on Twitter here, and the page isn't showing up. All Things Spurs, here it is. Sessegnon is all completely dull. Lo Celso medical starts now. It's according to All Things Spurs again, and in the know, who's been very reliable over the window. Sessegnon done. Lo Celso medical starting now. Again, it's unconfirmed. It is a Twitter page, but it's looking good. It is looking very, very good indeed. Now, as I've said a few times, if you do want more content like this, again, it won't be transfer stuff, but I'll be doing match reviews like this, interactive live streams over the season. So if you do want that content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and hit the notification bell so you're notified whenever I upload. And also, if you do want to be in with a chance of winning a free Tottenham jersey, make sure to like this video and share it out on Twitter and Facebook. If you get to 200 likes before I end the stream, I'll be giving out another free jersey. I'm already giving one away. There's a video on my channel from Sunday if you want to go and try and win that. Caden Shipley saying, apparently Dybala is in London. Is it true? Sky Sports reported about half an hour ago there are unconfirmed reports that Dybala is in London. It doesn't seem to be true. There doesn't seem to be much to it. And as a few people have said, there's a private jet been chartered from Turin on its way to London. The people are tracking could potentially be Paulo Dybala, and that it remains to be seen. I'm sure we'll find out very, very soon indeed. Now, as we approach 10 o'clock, there's just over 7 hours left in this window for Tottenham to get 3 deals done, and it's looking very good. I do think these deals will be done. So what I want to know is, what do you think will happen in this window? So put in the live chat now, do you think we will sign Sessegnon? Do you think we'll get Lo Celso? Do you think we'll actually pull off this massive deal for Paulo Dybala? Personally, I think we will see all 3 come in, and I know it may be way too optimistic, but now Rapiet is making a good point there. The plane from Turin could very well be Mario Mandzukic on his way to Manchester. Now that is a very good point. I haven't seen that just yet. I haven't thought of that yet. That's a good point there. It could potentially be Mandzukic. Now Josh Jones is saying, I think we're getting all of them. Let's do this. Come on, you Spurs. Another one saying here we would sign all 3. And Josh Jones saying, I think we're getting all of them. Lee as well saying, I think we could. The general feeling around Tottenham fans has really, really improved in the last couple of days. I mean, we were all sick of those people saying hashtag Levy out and all this stuff over the last week or so. Lee's saying, why would it go to London if it was from Manchester? It's not confirmed that it's going to London. It's just left Turin on its way to England. It could be to London, it could be to Manchester. I'm sure we'll find out very soon. There's an update here in David Luiz. His move to Arsenal is edging closer. Luiz is undergoing a medical with Arsenal at the moment, and the deal should be done soon. So it's a signing for Arsenal. Unfortunately, of course, they are getting that centre back that they do desperately need. Joshua Humphreys is saying, I think we'll sign Sessegnon and Lo Celso and Dybala in the last minute. Brett is saying, don't think we're going to get Dybala, just think he's never wanted to leave Juve. Funny guy saying, I'll be happy if only Dybala came. So again, the confidence seems to be there. People are expecting these deals to go through, and over the last couple of days there's been a lot of people on these streams saying, you know, Levy isn't doing good enough, it's on mind games, he's just trying to get the fans happy, and he's going to say, oh sorry, we couldn't get it over the line. But as I said, this is the first stream I've had where people haven't been saying that in the chat. The general feeling seems to have changed. Looks like people are confident these deals will get over the line today. Harry Pizza saying, what's the Lo Celso deal? I've heard different reports. So the latest on the Lo Celso deal is that we're going to sign him on an initial loan deal. Now this loan deal will be worth about £16 million, and then there'll be an obligation to buy in the contract for next summer to sign him for about £40 million. Now essentially what this does is it allows Tottenham to put a bit more money towards that Paulo Dybala deal, which is obviously great for us. You know, he's someone we want in, but it also works for Betis because for them they will owe a bit less money to PSG, because we know they have to pay a 20% sell-on clause to they do have to pay a 20% sell-on clause to PSG on every bit of profit that they make from selling Lo Celso. So from letting him go on loan for £16 million, and then on paper they will have sold him for £40 million, which would be about a £15 million profit, and then only owe £3 million to PSG. So it's great for both sides, and again, it does seem like he's having a medical at Hotspur Way any moment now. No confirmation from Sky Sports yet, but Sky Sports do think this deal will get over the line. Jonathan Croy asking, any news on a right back? There is news, and it's not the news we would be hoping for. According to Paul Gilmore about 15 minutes ago, he's the Sky Sports correspondent at Hotspur Way today. As things stand, Spurs are unlikely to do a right back deal. Faith in Foyth and Walker Peters. Dyer has played there in the past. Aurier could yet depart to a foreign club before the end of the month. So it does seem like Foyth and Walker-Peters are the right back options for the season ahead. Look, it's not ideal, but it's not the end of the world either. I think they both have enough to be good for us in that position. But I think if they don't push on a lot this season, I feel as though they will. There'll be players that we'll see. That'll be a position we'll see improve next season. Caden Shipley saying, imagine the midfield and Domino, Lo Celso and Dybala and Dele could honestly be one of the Premier League's best, and that is really true. And I think that's where a place now where we might surpass Liverpool in terms of quality in the midfield, because I do think that was where Liverpool were kind of let down last year. The midfield just wasn't on the same level as Manchester City's, and Liverpool having not strengthened at all this summer, I think we are now close to Liverpool on that level, but as a whole squad I don't think we are. But as you say, it could potentially be one of the best midfields in the Premier League. And Caden also saying really worrying about that right back position. Now Steve Ruffhead saying they just had the registration rules on the transfer centre. If the new players are to play at the weekend, they need to be registered by midday tomorrow. I can't see that being an issue, and it's not an issue at all. They need to be registered by 7 o'clock tonight to in order to be confirmed signings. I think that's more towards Liverpool and Norwich. They're playing tomorrow night, so if Liverpool and Norwich want new signings to be playing, they'll have to sign them by 12 o'clock today. Luvo saying, I think we'll sign all three and keep Eriksen, and we definitely challenge and close gap between Man City and Liverpool. X-Master Votex saying, do you think we'll sign Dybala? I do. I think this is one that we will see get over the line in the next couple of hours. Steve saying, sideshow David Luiz, Mustafi or Socrates at the back. I'd rather have the Keystone Cops. Josh Jones saying, I think we are going for a right back in January. Well, if Pochettino's putting the faith in Foyth and Walker-Peters now, I think he'll give him at least a season, and we might see the right back place readdressed next summer. Lee saying, we've apparently made a 30 million bid to sign Matthias Ginter, 40 million for LC Husai too. Well, I suppose we can't say that the LC Husai deal is off, because according to Paul Gilmore, Tottenham aren't going to be signing a right back. As for Matthias Ginter, I haven't heard anything about that. I've been looking at a load of reports. I haven't seen anything come through about that, but I don't think it is something we're looking to do this summer. I don't think we will be signing a centre back. Joshua saying 4-3-3, Hugo a right back, Jan Toby Rose, and Domino Wings Lo Celso, Son Kane Dybala. Very strong team, but I think it will be a 4-2-3-1 this season. Riley Melvin saying, are you streaming to the deadline hour? I would have liked to, but unfortunately I do have work today at about 2 o'clock. At 2 o'clock, so I won't be able to stream to the deadline hour. I'll go till at least 11. If I can, I'll go until 12, but I won't be able to stream till the deadline hour. Jonathan Croy saying, Aurier still heading out. It looks like he might be, again according to Paul Gilmore. He could potentially be leaving later in the window to a foreign club. I'm Asian God the First saying, I was still going for Fernandes as well. The Fernandes deal does look to be off. His agent met with the Sporting Lisbon president yesterday, and they agreed that Fernandes would only leave the club if they could get £70 million in up front. So we know how much Daniel Levy likes these structured deals. It doesn't look like we'll be getting Fernandes. It's way too much money to pay up front. It's not something Tottenham would be able to do. So I don't think that will be happening. Can we have an update on Tierney and David Luiz? Well, the only thing to say really is they're both having medicals at Arsenal at the moment. Luiz for £8 million, Tierney for £25 million. Medicals ongoing. I'm sure we get confirmation soon. JJ Hennessy saying, great live stream, Matt. Thanks for all the updates. Thank you, I appreciate it. I hope we do get Dybala today. It will be a real statement of intent, and that is really true. And it'll be a statement of intent, but it'll also be an incredible signing. It's massive. We can't underestimate it. He's a world class player and one of the best signings of the summer, as I said, in my opinion. Gurney October saying we use Dyer at right back or Sissoko, and we can, but as Paul Gilmore says, it looks like faith has been put in Foyth and Walker-Peters, which I think is the best option, because we'd rather play first players who right back is their best position in order for that. Del Boy saying Dele Alli will not walk straight into the team anymore. No matter how badly he's playing, he'll have to up his game to get in the side. Joshua Humphrey saying if it's a 4-2-3-1, we'd be looking at Hugo a right back, Vertonghen, Alderweireld, Rose, and Domino and Winks, and then Son, Dybala and Lo Celso behind Kane. And that is it's such a strong team. I mean, that is an incredibly strong team, and I think we will be challenging for trophies this season. I really, really do. Max Duke saying, will Lo Celso be permanent or loan move? So it will be permanent, but essentially it will be an initial loan move. So we'll be signing him for about £60 million on loan first, with an obligation to buy next summer for £40 million. So no matter what, if this deal goes ahead, he will be confirmed as a Tottenham player officially next summer. Mafu's saying, if we sign Lo Celso, Dybala and Sessegnon, this will be the best transfer window ever. Josh Jones saying Sissoko is better than Winks. Jeremy Mears saying, I want to see Patches smile when we confirm all 3 new signings. Lewis Payne saying, if we get all signings, I think we could fight for second. Liverpool haven't strengthened. Harris Khan saying, will Musa Sissoko play in the first 11? I think he might be one of the first names on that team sheet, but of course it remains to be seen what Pochettino's plans are. Caden saying, don't honestly think we should keep Eriksen because his attitude towards Spurs has gone downhill massively, and to be honest, I don't think he will try his best at Spurs anymore. Lee saying, wait, I heard Rose will leave and Sessegnon is a replacement. Spurs just waiting for us to sign Ryan apparently. I don't think so. I think Rose will be saying Sessegnon isn't being signed as a left back. I think he's someone who'll be playing higher up the pitch when he does get into the first team. Delboy is saying, how much is the Dybala wage? According to the reports that suggest this stuff has been agreed, it's about £250,000 a week. He's asking for less from United because he will be getting Champions League football, so it's about £250,000 a week. Harry Stubbings saying, I believe we will sign Dybala, Lo Celso, Sessegnon, let Eriksen go on real force for this season. Jeremy Mears saying, no more complaining from the gaffer. Grogger saying, I hope Sissoko was still a starter this season. Wouldn't have said that 2 years ago, and that is really true. I mean, it's mad. Steve Roughhead saying, we will announce all of them at the same time, and if we did, I mean, that would be potential for a great announcement video there. As someone said a while ago, if we do announce Lo Celso and Dybala together, it could be kind of the modern day Ricky Villa and Ozzy Ardiles, so we could see some really good announcement there. GTA 5 saying, I'm a United fan, but to be honest, you could challenge for the title if you sign all these players. Harris Khan, will Paulo Dybala partner Harry Kane up top in striker position? Well, as I said, it does seem like Dybala prefers to play as a number 10, and that may be one of the reasons why he turned down Manchester United. So with us playing that 4-2-3-1 formation, him as a number 10 would probably be the best option for him. But of course he does have the capabilities to play in the striker position if we're changing to a 4-1-2-1-2, or even if we do try out a 4-3-3, he can play in the wing as well. Gurney October saying, bro, thanks for all the updates. Really love the info because sometimes we don't get it all in South Africa. Thanks, I appreciate the comment, Gurney. It's my pleasure. I really enjoy making these videos. Delboy saying, does that not make him our highest earner? He's on more than Kane. That would be the case. Kane on about £200,000 a week, so Dybala would become our highest earner. But I certainly think it's worth it, to be honest. You know, it's while it mightn't be best to have a player who has been so important to us as Kane and who's probably our best player, I just don't think it would be the worst thing in the world to have Dybala as a higher paid player. Rappy is saying Dybala is kind of overrated in my opinion, but he's still a very good player. Lee saying, apparently Mbappe told Ndombele to sign for us. Don't think it's true though. I can't imagine Mbappe would have anything to do with that. I think Musa Sissoko and Hugo Lloris would probably have been more part of that, convincing Ndombele to join. Stephen Flynn saying, well, with our new world-class stadium and training facilities, it was only a matter of time world-class players would want to play for us, and that is true, and that is why Ndombele joined us. He said once he joined the stadium, once he saw the stadium, he knew that this was where he wanted to be, and it's great that we do have now those facilities that can convince players. Like, we're not only looking at just trying to convince them in terms of the project. It is now that we have the stadium, the facilities, the manager, the team, and potentially the money. Lou was saying, imagine furnishing in our new stadium with trophies in our first full season playing there, and that's all that's missing from the stadium at the moment. Adam Miller, so has he actually joined now? Also, what is the news about Sessegnon? Well, no one has joined yet today. It is just Ndombele and Clark from the earlier signings in the window, but Sessegnon and Lo Celso, it seems to be both medicals potentially done. If not, Lo Celso's is still ongoing, and announcements are imminent, and we could see Dybala in London pretty soon. Harris Khan saying, are there any news for LC Husai of Napoli? We will not be signing a right back this summer, and that's according to Paul Gilmore of Sky Sports, who is their correspondent at Hotspur Way today. At about 9:45, so about 25 minutes ago, he said Spurs are unlikely to do a right back deal. Faith and Foyth and Walker Peters. Dyer has played there in the past. Aurier could yet depart to a foreign club before the end of the month. So, and Lee saying Sessegnon could be signed as a right back. I don't think so. I think it is him playing in a more advanced position. GTA 5 said, you cover different teams on this channel. I don't. I'm mainly Tottenham, but you know, I would discuss the kind of dealings of other teams, particularly today when there could be a lot going through. But potentially in the future, I might kind of diversify the channel and go into a bit more about the top teams. But I'll see how that goes, but at the moment it is solely Tottenham based. Mohammed Hansrad saying any strikers coming in. I suppose you could count Dybala as a striker, but aside from him, there are no strikers coming in. Jonathan Croy saying any of the young guys being loaned out, Parrott staying. It looks like Cameron Carter-Vickers is going to be loaned out to Stoke, according to Sky Sports. That's one that's nearing completion. Parrott, there were links for him going out on loan to Brighton or Burnley, but that they haven't really developed or materialised at all. So it does seem like Parrott will still be at the team this season. BZRK Glory saying how come Lo Celso is on loan? So Lo Celso was an initial loan deal with an obligation to buy next summer. So what that means is we'll get him on loan now, but no matter what happens, we will confirm him as a Tottenham player next summer. And what that does for Tottenham is it frees up the funds for us to pursue the Dybala deal. And for Real Betis, they'll have to give less money of their profits to PSG because they have to pay 20% to PSG from what the profit that they make. So by loaning him out and then selling him for less money, they're giving less money to PSG. So it's just better financially for both teams. Mohamed Sula saying we need to see more Japhet Tanganga this season, and he was one who was unbelievably impressive in pre-season. I think we could potentially see him getting a bit more game time in the season ahead. Thoughts on Eriksen possibly going to United? That's Ethan. That seems to be off, and it's something I wouldn't like to see happen because they are, of course, the top 6 opposition. But if it was a case of selling him to United now or letting him go for free next summer, I would prefer to let him go to United, just get that money in. But I don't think it is going to happen. I think if he will leave, it'll most likely be to Atletico Madrid. But I don't know if that is the step up that he would want. GTA 5 saying how much money will you have spent if all of these players join you? So we played about 10 million for Clark, 65 for Ndombele, which is 75, about 30 for Sessegnon, so 105, 55 for Lo Celso, which is 160, and that's including the money next year, and then 65 for Dybala, so potentially about £225 million this summer if all these deals are done. Richard Bennett saying if we get all the players we are looking at, our midfield and attack will be fantastic. Sorry, one sec, just jumped away there. I'm just worried by our defence, especially right back. JKTT saying imagine Sessegnon, Lo Celso and Dybala announcing a third kit video today. Delboy saying our strength behind the striker is insane. Lamela and Kudu, Mora, Lo Celso, Dybala, Son, Ali, Eriksen, Sessegnon. Just look at that depth, and when you list it out like that, wow, that's pretty impressive. Max Duke saying will Dybala sign if Lo Celso and Sessegnon sign? I think so. I think we may potentially see all three coming in. Harris Khan saying is Giovanni Lo Celso an Eriksen type player or Dele Alli type? I'd compare him a lot more to Christian Eriksen because Dele Alli kind of plays as a second striker, but Lo Celso and Eriksen are more number 10s, they're playmakers, and Lo Celso can also play in a deeper role, and he is a good for the box to box player, so I think I'd liken him more to Christian Eriksen. Now Joshua Humphreys asking what are the odds on Paulo Dybala. Now last I checked they were 4-1 on, but I think they quickly changed to about 7-2 on. So let's have a quick look now and see where it's at. I'll check Sky Bet because I suppose they'd have the best insight into all this. Specials, transfer. So as a transfer deadline day, oh no, that's not right. Transfer to sign before 3rd September. Paulo Dybala right now is 9-2 odds on to join Tottenham, which is pretty encouraging to be honest. Blem's one saying you guys have class all around now, coming from an Arsenal fan, so that kind of says a lot. Grogger's saying having that 10 that can play as a 9 in Dybala is what we have needed for a few years, and that's a great point. I mean, that sort of versatility is something Pochettino likes to have in his players. You look at Sissoko, Lo Celso potentially, Eric Dyer. It does look like that could be a part of why Dybala has been prioritised so much at the moment. And I see Harris there saying, by the way, BBC are reporting Dybala is almost done. Now BBC were one of the first to report that Tottenham that the image rights deal for Paulo Dybala had been agreed. So it says here Tottenham in for Dybala, Sessegnon and Lo Celso. Let's have a look, see if I can find that. Now look, potentially just been the report a while ago, and they said the image rights deals are all but confirmed. So it's looking really exciting at the moment. GTA 5 is saying if I was Harry Winks I'd consider leaving. No, I don't think so. Harry Winks is a crucial part of our team and was one of our best players last season, and he's someone who I do think is really underrated, a bit by Tottenham fans but mainly by opposition fans. He's a player who he doesn't have the stats. He doesn't have a load of assists or a load of goals. But essentially, what he does is playing in that role, kind of in front of the defense. He allows his partner in midfield to push on more, and he kind of sits just behind the attack, and he kind of orchestrates the different phases of play. And I think he's a crucial part of our team. And we wouldn't have made it to a Champions League final without him last year. I think. Lee saying also, remember I said earlier about 4 transfers, but it looks like Dybala, Sessegnon, Lo Celso and Natal. A right back won't be happening today, unfortunately. According to Paul Gilmore, we're not looking into that. I don't think it will happen. Darren Moore saying, if Dybala goes to Tottenham, he should be ashamed of himself. Tottenham doesn't win trophies. Ian Richardson saying, Winks is or will be much better than Sissoko, which I agree with. Lee saying, 13 minutes ago, Lo Celso was supposedly a Spurs player. I don't think that's true just yet, but as I say, I do think it's one that we will see announced imminently. But there's nothing confirmed yet. Nuvo saying, thanks to Mora for leading us to Champions League final, thus making it possible for us to attract all these new lads. Imagine if we'd won the CL. That's a great point. I mean, that final, I'm sure, attracted a lot of people, and kind of our journey there, it would have captured the hearts of a lot of people watching them. With all these comebacks and all that, I think it's really important that we did make it there, and that could potentially be what's attracting in Dembélé, Lo Celso and Dybala. Delboy saying that Lo Celso loan deal is such clever negotiating. Real Betis get the profits they deserve, and we have the extra image rights money and financial security if Eriksen stays. And it is really true. If Daniel Levy is the one who proposed this deal, it is absolutely genius from his part. I imagine it could have been Betis. They would have said they could do this for more profits, and Tottenham would have looked at that and said, oh look, we can get Dybala as well. But if it was Levy who kind of offered that deal first, that's just genius negotiating. Like, Ex-Master Votex saying, who hates Liverpool? Because I do. I'd be surprised if there's someone here who doesn't hate Liverpool. We all do. Pleasy Tube saying, great coverage, stock up on drinks and snacks. It's going to be a long day, lots of surprises. Alfie Fenwick saying, what you're doing here is really good, mate. I appreciate that. I so hope Dybala will be a yid. Who you reckon we will sign, mate? I think, again, it will be Lo Celso and Sessegnon for absolute sure. And Dybala, more than likely, I think, will come in today as well. Caden saying, Foyt is massively underrated. Mohammed saying, Winks is a staple for sure. No other player in our team facilitates the ball out the back as well as he does. Now, Abhinav Haran is saying, I heard that Lo Celso won't happen this window. Is that true? It's absolutely not true. It looks like an announcement is imminent. He's having a medical at Hotspur Way at the moment, according to a load of different reports. So it does look like Lo Celso will happen. Clementine asking, what is the possibility of a straight swap of Eriksen and Coutinho? Very unlikely. I don't think that will happen at all. Samir is a bit salty. Thoilen Ross saying, do you know when the new players will be eligible to play? They'll be able to play against Aston Villa on Saturday, because we need to register them before 12 o'clock tomorrow, but with the deadline today, if we are going to sign them, it will be ahead of that. So they will be eligible to play on Saturday. Darren Moore saying, let's watch Dybala flop, leaving a top class club to Tottenham. What a joke. Who's Tottenham? Now Harris saying, can Dybala play as a winger like Messi? And he can. It's not something he does very often, but he can play in those positions. And again, that's the sort of versatility that he would offer us. Lewis Payne saying, if they do sign, what kit numbers would you give them? I think Dybala would get the number 9, for obvious reasons. Sessegnon and Lo Celso will probably have higher numbers, because I mean there aren't many lower numbers available, but they're also not the players who you would give those really important numbers to. Whereas the 8 now is Harry Winks, 9 probably Dybala, Kane number 10, and the other ones are usually for kind of more defensive players, I suppose. Darren Fearon saying, I like when a rival club comes here to insult you. You know they're worried about our team. Paul is saying, love the show, Matt. Appreciate it, Paul. Silver Surfer saying, any update on Arsenal transfers? It's just the same. Louise and Tierney both have medicals at Arsenal at the moment. Louise signing potentially for £8 million and Kieran Tierney for £25 million. Harris Khan saying, so that means Harry Kane starts every game and Dybala as well. Again, I don't think any of them will be starting every game, but I do think they'll be some of the first name on the team sheets. Onion Bag asking for any Crystal Palace updates. Crystal Palace last night signed James McCarthy from Everton for about £3 million. This is one confirmed really late last night, about 11 o'clock. They've also signed Victor Camarasa on loan from Real Betis. There is an option to buy in that contract, but it's not an obligation. We'll see how that works out next summer. In terms of Wilfried Zaha, he has handed in a transfer request at Crystal Palace. Yesterday they turned down a bid from Everton worth about £70 million plus Cenk Tosun and James McCarthy. So McCarthy has since gone to Palace, so it does seem like they're holding out for that £80 million price tag. At the moment, there could be a few things going on at Crystal Palace. Young Cat saying Dybala looks like it's getting done. I'm sure we'll hear about this over the next couple of hours. I personally am waiting for the Sky Sports report. Oh no, here it is. Paul Gilmore saying they're pushing to get him, and what a sign it would be, but being told as things stand there's a lot to do. As widely reported, image rights and wages are the key areas. So that's coming in now from Sky Sports in the last minute. On Dybala, they're pushing to get him, and what a signing it would be, but being told as things stand there's a lot to do. So it looks like Tottenham are really, really working to get this done, but Sky Sports kind of opposing those the reports coming out of the BBC that these things look to be done. As widely reported, image rights and wages are the key areas, but Tottenham are really pushing to get this done. And I think if they are pushing to get it done, they will get it done. Sarthak saying, is Pochettino the reason why Dybala will come to Tottenham? I think it is one of the big reasons, because obviously that Argentinian connection, but also Pochettino as a person. We know when players talk to him, they struggle to turn Tottenham down. I know Coutinho has, but that was a loan deal. He wants a permanent deal, which isn't likely to happen. Now, Tag Hydro saying Kyle Walker-Peters to Southampton is nearly confirmed on loan. I don't think that's confirmed. I don't think it is going to happen, because Pochettino seems to be putting faith in Foyth and Walker-Peters for the season ahead. Again, from Paul Gilmore of Sky Sports. Serge Aurier could potentially be leaving the club this summer. And I was looking for a few more updates on Twitter. Again, Fabrizio Romano is the one I'm looking for from Paulo Dybala. The latest he has on Dybala is about 10 minutes ago. Paulo Dybala, Juventus and Tottenham are trying to find the total agreement. Still some problems between Dybala and Tottenham to be solved. Meeting today with agents and Juventus directors too. Not an easy deal, but talks ongoing. So the same few things coming out from Fabrizio Romano and Paul Gilmore. Again, Juventus and Tottenham are trying to find the total agreement. Still some problems between Dybala and Tottenham to be solved. Meeting today with agents and Juventus director too. Not an easy deal, but talks ongoing. So the latest on Dybala is probably not as likely as we thought. Talks ongoing, but it's not going to be easy to get it done. The Aura Guardian saying, don't you love it when rival top six fans come onto a Spurs stream to speak a lot of rubbish about how Spurs haven't won anything because they're jealous we may sign a world class talent? I couldn't have put it better myself. Alfie Fenwick saying, can see us winning a trophy this season. Had the best window, yet better than anyone else. I think we can challenge for the title. I don't think the title is realistic this season, but as you say, I do think we can challenge for a trophy. Funny Guy, that report there isn't true. We haven't signed Dybala yet, so ignore that one from Funny Guy. Delboy saying, Di Marzio reporting that Dybala will not need to have a medical with Spurs as they are satisfied with his Juve medical reports. And this is something I was kind of thinking about, but I didn't think it would be true. We know when United were in talks with Dybala that he had gone back to Juventus for his pre-season report, for his pre-season medicals, and that has been completed. And I'm not sure if Tottenham would use that. I'm not sure they'd ideally want to use that as the basis for them signing him, but it could be, if needed, what they would use in order to sign him. Riley Melman saying, reports from TalkSport that Sessegnon and Lo Celso done by lunchtime, which is looking likely an hour and a half. Until then, I think we will see them coming in potentially by that time, so Tottenham can then focus on Paulo Dybala. Funny Guy, I'm looking at Sky Sports here right now. There's nothing about Paulo Dybala. The latest is that they're in talks, but it's going to be difficult to do. Onion Bag saying he's still in for Lo Celso. We are, and again that deal looks like it will be done in the next couple of hours. He's currently having a medical at Tottenham, so it looks like that will be done very, very soon. Looking at the Di Marzio Twitter here. It's just in Italian at the moment. I can't read it and I can't see the option to translate. But wait one sec now. Yeah, look, the reports seem to be the same. Talks ongoing with Dybala, but not close, and could be a bit difficult. Terence Ahern saying, do you think it was a big mistake selling Kieran Trippier? I don't think it was. I mean, he was a player who was really, really good for us when he was there for the first couple of seasons, but he was really disappointing last year. And ultimately, if Pochettino doesn't see him as someone who is in the team, who's going to be an important part of our team, personally, I just don't think it was a mistake to sell him. I think it was probably best. We have to trust that Pochettino's judgment is spot on, and it seems like he wanted Trippier gone, and it's the best thing that he is now gone. Anders Elton saying, who do you think Man U going to replace Lukaku with? It looks like Mario Mandzukic at the moment, but Solskjaer made it clear that Lukaku was second choice striker if he was going to stay. Rashford is their main player, and they also have the likes of Anthony Martial and Mason Greenwood in those positions, but they are in talks to sign Mario Mandzukic from Juventus. Creepiest Matt saying, are United after Eriksen? No. Yesterday, Manchester United pulled out of that deal to sign Christian Eriksen. They believe he has his heart set on Real Madrid, so they are not pursuing a deal for him. So it looks like Eriksen will not be joining Man United this summer. Onion Bag also saying, this may be the greatest window ever for you if you get Dybala, Lo Celso and Ndombele, and that is true. This could be a massive window for us. Harris Khan saying, is Serge Aurier leaving soon? According to Paul Gilmore of Sky Sports, Aurier could potentially leave later in the window to go to a European team, but at the moment there's nothing to suggest that will be going ahead. Steve Ruffhead saying, how many marriage proposals do you think Mr. Levy will get on Saturday if all these go through today? He'll be a busy man saying no, I'd say. Lee saying, Inaki Williams and Marcus Rashford together is crazy, to be honest. I don't think that will be the case. £81 million for Williams is a lot, and I doubt United's valuation will be anywhere near that in this late in the window. I think there's not enough time left for that to go through. Funny guy saying, where do you think we will end in the table, and what's your top four prediction? I think we'll finish third, City, Liverpool, Tottenham, United. I'm going to put out a video tomorrow on my Premier League predictions, so if you do want to see that video, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. Isaac saying, if they sign Dybala, it would be massive. Siri and Shamir Jalani here both asking about Dybala. So the latest from Sky Sports, Fabrizio Romano and Gianluca Di Marzio is that talks are ongoing, but it is going to be a very difficult deal to get done. Perhaps the personal term discussions and the deal regarding his image rights aren't as advanced as being reported by BBC and a number of other sources, but the talks are ongoing, and this is one that Tottenham are really pushing to get over the line, but at the moment it's not done. Creepy Smart saying, who is Williams? Inaki Williams is a Spanish winger who plays for Athletic Bilbao in the Spanish league. United are interested in him, and he has an £81 million release clause, and like Lee says, he's like a Spanish Marcus Rashford. I'm an Arsenal fan, and I would like to ask, do you think Torreira should have got a red card on the tackle against Rose? I can't remember that tackle, but I remember something about him. He should have been sent off. I'm just going to say yes because I wanted to win that game. Alec Lewis saying, window doesn't end today, can still sell after today. We can. It's the English window closes, but the European window stays open until the 2nd of September, so we can still sell players like Christian Eriksen or Danny Rose if we have to, but we can't buy players after today, which is why we need to get those deals over the line. Wissem saying, I don't think you will get Dybala in with the image rights and the agent fees. Anders Elton, who was the best defence in the Premier League? I suppose we'd have to say Manchester City, just because maybe Liverpool as well, they're probably in there, but it's definitely between the two of them. Pineapple Cousin saying Dybala might be the best for Spurs. What can you say about Walker Peters? Walker Peters, he's a good player, he's inexperienced and not at the physical level he needs to be, but it looks like Pochettino is putting the faith in him this season, so I think it could be a good season for Kyle Walker Peters. Delboy saying United have to pay $81 million for Inaki Williams, as Bilbao only ever sell for a release clause because they only sign Basque players. That was a good point. Remember Kepe Arrizabalaga signing for Chelsea from Bilbao, and they had to trigger his £75 million release clause. Harris Khan saying, is Walker Peters good enough? Personally, I think no. I don't think he's good enough yet, but I think he will be good enough eventually. C. saying, where would we end up in the Champions League? I'd say round of 16, quarter-final at the latest. You know, teams don't usually have good Champions League runs 2 years in a row, so I wouldn't be too optimistic about this. Joshua Humphrey saying, can you do a stream later tonight? I'm not sure if I will get one. I might be able to do a short one at about 6 o'clock, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to do another proper one later. What's your rating on our defence? Our defence is decent. I mean, again, right back is probably the only position in our team that could be strengthened, but it's not the end of the world because we do have a really strong team aside from that. Our defence I'm happy with. Like the likes of Alderweireld will probably leave in next summer. Having him, Vertonghen and Sanchez for this season is a massive plus. They're all great players. So I think it would be good. Jeremy Weir saying, don't bother reading the negative comments, Matt, and mention your like giveaway again. I will be giving away another jersey if I do get this stream to 200 likes before I end it. So I'm thinking of ending at about 11 o'clock. So we're on 106 now. So if you do want to potentially be in with a chance to win a Tottenham jersey, make sure you like this video. If you get to 200 likes, I'll give away a free Tottenham jersey. So try and get it up to 200. If you want to share it out on Twitter or Facebook, I will get it up as high as possible. Rob Kelly and Robbie G both asking about Dybala. So the price is about £64.4 million as reported by Sky Sports on Tuesday. It's an unbelievable fee for a player of his quality, but I don't know if it's going to go through. I think it will, but with these latest reports from Sky Sports, Fabrizio Romano and Gianluca Di Marzio, it's not as advanced as we thought it might have been. If Tottenham signed Dybala instead of Man United, I've supported Man United all my life, but I was seriously watching more Tottenham games than United games this season. United is becoming a stellar team, Glazers out. Creepy Smart saying, wasn't Alderweireld meant to be going to United once upon a time? It seems that all our players are linked with United. I don't really take much notice of those links anymore. Spurs 13, will we sign Dybala? It's looking likely, I think we will, but it's not as advanced, as I said, as we thought it might have been. Muhammad saying, Tottenham got Dybala, mark my words. Max Duke saying, if you told me last year we were going to sign Dybala, Lo Celso and Sessegnon, and don't forget Tanguy and Dembele. Crazy advancements from where we were last year. Matthew Hogg, do you think we will sign a keeper next season? I don't think so. I think Lloris still has a good few years left in him. And as well, we've Gazzaniga ready to deputise there if he's needed. He did really well last season. And I know he was disappointing in pre-season, but he has the quality. He's a great keeper. I don't think we're in any sort of rush to sign a new one. United are in the Europa League. Grocker saying, The Guardian are reporting that personal terms agreed with Dybala. Terence saying, why can't we have our transfer window on the same par as Europe? So basically, this is something I'm really frustrated with. A couple of years ago, Premier League managers started complaining that the window went on past the beginning of the season and it was interrupting with the team and the chemistry and the general mood in the camp. So Premier League managers voted and they decided the transfer window would end before the start of the season. Now, I do think that's a good thing. I think it's the right thing to have it end before the start of the season, but I don't think it's the FA's duty to do that. I think if it is going to happen, it should be UEFA organising that. And it's put the English League in a really bad position that the Spanish teams have a month longer to sign players. So I am concerned about it. But look, there's nothing we can do about it, and I do hope it's only a matter of time before the European windows follow suit, but at the moment it doesn't look like they will anytime soon. Creepy is not saying, thoughts on De Gea, do you think he's still good enough? Oh, he is. I think he's the best keeper in the world. He had a really difficult end to last season, but everyone has some difficult what's the word? Periods, I suppose. But when it's a keeper making mistakes, there's a lot more attention put in it. So I think he is still the best keeper in the world. Hassan saying, I don't understand people who call Eriksen a snake. He said at Ajax he wouldn't mind leaving, and if no one came in for him, he'd stay, but we signed him. I think he's doing the same with us now. Fair play. Again, Spurs football content saying Tottenham have agreed personal terms with Juventus for forward Paulo Dybala, according to The Guardian. TRF7 saying, do you think we will sign Bruno? Bruno Fernandes won't be joining Tottenham this summer. His agent met with the Sporting Lisbon president yesterday, and they both agreed that Fernandes would only leave the club if a bid for £70 million up front came in, triggering his release clause. Aside from that, he wouldn't be leaving. They're not willing to go for any deals that would see a structured payment come through, so it doesn't look like we'll be getting him done. Carl Calleja saying, what time do you think Lo Celso and Sessegnon will be announced? I think Sessegnon's announcement is imminent, and I think Lo Celso won't be too long after it. I feel like they'll get these deals done kind of before midday or something, and then try and focus on the Dybala deal later in the day. Del Boy saying, I think BBC have jumped the gun to try and get recognition with Dybala. Might still happen, but not done as much as they say. Caden Shipley saying, I don't think Paulo Gazzaniga is good enough to be our backup keeper. Oh no, I do think he is. He was unbelievable when he deputised for Lloris last season, and he had, as I said, disappointing performances in pre-season, but it's pre-season. He wasn't the only one. I think he is great and good enough. Luke Conroy saying 7-hour stream or riot. I wish I could do a 7, 8, 9 hour stream, but I can't. I have to work, unfortunately, and I don't think one stream is worth quitting my job, so I'll be going soon. Ali Simpson saying, do you think Dybala will happen? I do think it will happen, but look, it remains to be seen. There's so many different reports coming out. Anything can happen at this stage. Pineapple Cousin saying, who do you think will finish bottom of the Prem? I think Brighton are in a difficult position this season. I think Sheffield United will struggle making that step up to the Premier League. But I do think Brighton are in a really bad position going into the new season. Spurs 13 saying, I think if we sign Dybala, I think it will be around 4:30pm. That one, as Sky Sports say, could go right down to the wire. Kyle King saying, I wonder why we're signing all these players. We're standalone favourites for top four as it is. Well, we have to sign players. I mean, we can't just be happy with what we are. We need to try and get better and stuff. So we need to sign these players. Tom Austin saying, Louise was Chelsea's highest scoring defender of fantasy football last season, and Chelsea came third, so he can't be that bad. Siri saying, if we sign Dybala, where will he play and who will leave? I think he'll be playing mainly in that number 10 role behind the striker. But I think Eriksen is most likely to leave at the moment. But again, there's a month for that one to get sorted out, so I don't know what's going to happen. Max Duke saying, who do you think would be the best for Spurs this season? Lo Celso and Dybala and Sessegnon. I think Ndombele could have the biggest effect on us playing in that important midfield role and being able to make that transition from defence to attack. I think he could have the biggest impact, but I think Dybala would probably be the bigger signing. Paleka is saying, how do you think West Ham will do? And for West Ham, it's absolutely anybody's guess because they always make these unbelievable signings, but they never seem to push on from it. It's really confusing. Rob Kelly saying, what do you think our chances in the FA Cup are? I think they're really good. I think we can win the Cup this season. David Burkhold saying, where do you see Ali playing? I suppose the same role, kind of in behind the striker, making those late runs into the box. Silver Circus saying, what do you work as? I work in a company called Stats Perform. Basically what we do is, I've only just started there recently, I'm still in training, but what the company do is they provide all the stats for any soccer matches. So, like when you're watching a match, you see the shots on target, passes, touches, all that come up. So I'll be working as, it's called a data collection agent, so I'll be the one collecting all that data from the matches and sending them out to the TV channels and some teams as well. Welsh guy saying, big question, can we afford all these guys plus the debts caused by the stadium? It seems like we can afford them. It could potentially rely on Eriksen's departure, but Tottenham didn't pay for much of that stadium. It's about a £1 billion stadium, and Tottenham potentially only paid about £200 million in that, so it is potentially we could have the money for this. Thanks there, Sev, for the donation. New here, subscribe within a minute of listening to you. Thanks, I really appreciate it. Thanks for the donation. I really do appreciate the support. Delboy saying, can you imagine the scenes at 4:55, Dybala running into Hotspur Way to make the deadline? Just imagine that, Sky Sports cameras and Dybala comes sprinting through with his agent behind him. That'll be a fun one to watch. Kyle King saying, Matt, would we keep hold of Toby? I think we will for this season, but as I say, I do think he'll be let go for free next summer, unfortunately, because it just seems like his time in the club is over, and we're lucky to keep him for this season, but I don't think we'll have him beyond that. Onion Bank saying, your job sounds cool. It is pretty cool, guys. I enjoy it. Like, I'm only there a couple of weeks, but I do enjoy it. Lee saying, financial fair play rules might do us over. I don't think so. I think because we've been so astute with our business over the last couple of years, I don't think we'll be in any trouble for that. Video Central saying, who do you think will most likely play at right back? Well, as Paul Gilmore said on Sky Sports, it is most likely going to be Foyth and Walker Peters, which, look, I think is okay. Now, an update on Victor Wanyama coming from Sky Sports. Tottenham are open to getting Vincent Wanyama. Vince Victor, isn't it? Yeah, isn't it? God, it says here on Sky Sports Vincent Wanyama, and I'm gone blank. It is Victor Wanyama, right? Yeah, Victor Wanyama. God, that was a weird moment. Tottenham are open to getting Victor Wanyama a new club by the end of the day, but they can't find a destination for him. Bournemouth were interested in the Kenyan international, but they've since signed Philip Billing, while Brighton looks set to land Aaron Moy, and Burnley are interested in Danny Drinkwater, all of which could have been possible destinations for him. So Bournemouth were the most likely destination for him. They've now signed Philip Billing, and as it says, Brighton and Burnley are looking elsewhere. So Wanyama could potentially be staying at the club for now, but maybe there will be a move. Fenerbahce are said to be interested in signing him, so that could be one that could be completed over the next month or so. Pranav saying, Eriksen to Real Madrid done, £50 million according to reports. Lee saying, out of nowhere spending around 200 million, yeah. Russell saying, if Tottenham sign Dybala today, 100% they're going to win something next season. And I agree, I do think we could be in an unbelievable position to win something if we can get that Dybala deal over the line. I suppose assuming that we do get Sessegnon and Lo Celso as well. Now, Rob Kelly saying, do you think that Umtiti would be a good transfer for us to make next summer if Toby or Vertonghen leave? I think Umtiti would be a great signing, and he's someone, it's not particularly unrealistic, because Umtiti was part of that offer that Barcelona made to Neymar, to PSG for Neymar a couple of weeks ago. They offered 5 players and said take your pick of 2. It does look like they are willing to let Umtiti go, so if he does stay this summer, he could be a great option for us to pursue next season. Of course, having that French connection with the likes of Lloris and Sissoko, it could be a deal that could go through. Harris Khan saying, we have to believe we'll win the league this season. Adrian saying, Dybala in London got pictures. I don't think that's confirmed just yet. If you do have pictures there, if you want to tweet them to me at Matt Hayes THFC, I'll have a look at them. I doubt they are real, but just tweet them to me there, Adrian, Matt Hayes THFC. I'll have a look at them, but I don't know if that is true. Kit saying, where do you think Arsenal will finish if they sign Tierney and Louise? I think they will struggle to get top four. Now, Joel Williams saying, been watching a private jet coming from Turin. It looks like it's heading to London, to Heathrow. And it's one we were talking about a while ago as well. And Rapiat made the point that it could potentially be Mandzukic going to Manchester. So it'll be interesting keeping an eye on that one. Just let me know if it does land in Heathrow. Harris Khan as well saying, by the way, Dybala's girlfriend wants to live in London, and I think that is an important point. You know, it's not all based on footballing decisions. There's other things he has to take into account, and if his girlfriend is trying to push for him to go to London, that could be a factor in his decision. Now, let's have a look here. Apparently, The Guardian is saying we've agreed personal terms with Dybala. The only thing I can see here is that the deal has been agreed. There's nothing there about personal terms. I'll check again in a few minutes. Chill saying, what are your thoughts on Eric Dyer? I think he does offer the team something with his versatility and the fact he can play in that midfield role or in centre back, or he can also play in the right back position. So I think he does offer that versatility, which is probably the reason he's still at the club, that he hasn't left yet. But I think he still does have a lot of work to do if he wants to make it into that first team. Now, Caden is saying, I think Davinson Sanchez is honestly a player with great potential to be a world-class defender. And he absolutely is. He's an unbelievable player, and I think he's also underrated. I mean, he has unbelievable pace, and his defensive abilities are good, and he's also good in the ball. So I think he is a great player for us. Max Duke saying, what about the image rights with the Dybala deal? The BBC reported, now there's breaking news here. If you're near a London airport, keep an eye out for Giovanni Lo Celso. Sky Sports News understands he's just touched down to complete his move from Betis to Tottenham. So that's according to Sky Sports. Giovanni Lo Celso is definitely in London now. There were reports that he was there a bit earlier and that the medical was ongoing, but according to Sky Sports, Lo Celso has now touched down and is in London to make those final things go through for that deal to Tottenham. Now back to the image rights with Dybala. BBC reported earlier this morning that had all been sorted out and it was only the matter of a medical and stuff like that, and there were a number of other reports saying the same thing, but it doesn't seem like it's advanced as that at the moment. According to Sky Sports, Gianluca Di Marzio and Fabrizio Romano, talks are still ongoing, but there's still a lot to do, and it's a deal that would be very difficult to complete, but it could very well go through today. Delboy saying, apparently Juve are giving money to Dybala to come to Spurs. Straight away love that team now. Tom Austin is saying Eriksen is the best player in my opinion. C. Rees saying, what time do you think Dybala will join? If he does join, I think it will be very late in the day. I think it's one that will go right down to the wire. Real Kiddable saying Dybala more likely to go to Inter. That's not the case at all. They won't be able to sign him. They're signing Lukaku for about £77 million, so they absolutely won't have the funds to bring him in. If anything, it's more likely for Inter's Mauro Icardi to go to Juventus. Dybala won't be joining Inter. There were reports that he did prefer Inter or PSG, but they're completely unconfirmed and they just seem to be entirely fabricated. Niz Kamunu saying, would you rather have Winks or Sissoko alongside Ndombele? I think I prefer Winks because, as I said, playing in that role kind of behind the attack, he's really good at transitioning through the different phases of play, and I think he's really underestimated and underrated in our team. So I do prefer Winks as the player. I do hope Sissoko gets a lot of game time this season because he has been great for us over the last year or so. But I think Winks would probably be better. Now, Shamir Jalani saying, do you mind explaining about the deadline? Apparently it can be extended. Now, what that is if a team is confident that a deal can be completed but it won't be done by the deadline, which is 5 p.m. today, they can submit what's called a deal sheet to the Premier League before the deadline that could give them a 2-hour extension. Now, what needs to be on that deal is kind of signatures from all parties, like the selling club, the buying club, players, agents, and all that stuff. Now, I'll come back to that in a second because Spurs Football Content is saying Fabrizio Romano has just tweeted that Dybala has agreed personal terms. This is a retweet from Fabrizio Romano, a report from Marcus Christensen. Tottenham agree personal terms with Dybala, with Sessegnon and Lo Celso set for medicals. Now that is the report from The Guardian that you were talking about a while ago. This is Fabrizio Romano has retweeted it, so he hasn't quite put that out himself. But the fact that he has retweeted it may suggest there is a bit of truth to it. But I'll definitely be keeping an eye out there to see if he does confirm it himself. Now coming back to that deal sheet, if they do present this sheet to the Premier League, they can get a 2 hour extension, but there does need to be kind of significant suggestion that a deal will be completed by 7 p.m. And Ron Swanson saying, congrats on 1.3k match. Thanks, I appreciate it. Whoa. Joel Williams saying, the jet from Turin is at 5,000 feet and is heading in a straight line to London Airport, about to land. Is it happening? Oh, this is getting exciting. There's about 6 hours left at the moment, and Dybala, if this is correct, is landing in London Airport very, very soon. This could potentially be absolutely massive. Curtis Brock saying, is David Luiz a good transfer for Arsenal? It's not the ideal one for them. I think they would have done better to have gotten the likes of Upamecano or Daniel Regani, but it seems like the funds weren't there, or they didn't want a loan deal or something like that. I personally think they shouldn't have bought Saliba and loaned him back. They would have had a lot more money to buy a better centre-back, but it looks like Luiz is the one that they want, and he's a good signing for £8 million. I think that's an absolute steal. Even though he's not the best player, he would fit into their side well. He's good on the ball, and he is better than the defensive options they have at the moment. Toe was saying, I hope that Bayern will sign Eriksen. Harris Khan saying, I personally prefer Musa Sissoko over Winks because he is a Dembele type player, strong in physique, because guess what, in football you need strength. And that is true, Sissoko does have some things that Winks doesn't, but I think Winks has a lot more that Sissoko doesn't, and perhaps he has more kind of on the ball than Sissoko would. Tottenham Reese saying, Matt, I just woke up. Harris Khan, can we just not talk about Arsenal in here, because I hate Arsenal Football Club? Well, I don't like talking about them, but I mean, if people are asking, I'm only going to mention them quickly. I'm not going to go too in depth about them, but I feel like we are going to finish above them this season. So might as well brag while we can. And Niz here saying Winks is much more technical, which is kind of what I was getting at. Sissoko has a lot of power and he's good defensively and stuff, but I think Winks is a better footballer, but Sissoko is probably a better athlete. And I think what we need in the team at the moment in that role, perhaps beside Ndombele, who is a very physical player, I think Winks would probably be the better option in that midfield. Harris Khan saying, just please, we are winning the league this season. I wouldn't say we're winning the league this season just yet, but I think City are too far ahead of us, but I do think we can compete in the domestic trophies. And it would be great if we do win something, of course. There's a photo here. This is coming from Joshua Humphreys in the chat. Dybala has been spotted in an airport, apparently. Now, which airport is that, Joshua? Is that definitely a new photo? Is it definitely London? This is the picture of Paulo Dybala in I suppose it does look like an airport, but is that definitely a new picture? It's your guy saying Dybala heading to London right now. Spurs football content saying, please don't lie, Joshua. I'll have a look for it on Twitter and see if I can find anything. I don't know if I would trust a picture like that, because I mean, now this is one from Dembouz on Twitter saying Dybala spotted at the airport in Turin. So that's Turin Airport. The Register wrote a load of different tweets here saying Dybala has been spotted at Turin Airport with his girlfriend. Oh no, one or two of these posts are older posts. So I wouldn't get too excited about that just yet. Look, it could potentially be true, but just yet I'm not going to say anything. Jimmy Page, Dybala was confirmed to be travelling to London. Adam Jenkins, breaking news, Lo Celso has just arrived in London Airport. And Toe saying Dybala is spotted at the airport in Turin. I'll wait for confirmation now from Sky Sports on this. Sky Sports have confirmed Lo Celso is in London, but at the moment there's nothing on Dybala. A few of those pictures about him in the airport seem to be older, from the 7th of August and one or two from the 3rd of August saying he was in the Manchester airport. So I don't think they're true just yet. Niz saying, if we get these signings, surely that gives us the best team in the PL. I wouldn't say we're the best team in the PL just yet. I think we are still a bit behind Manchester City and Liverpool, but look, we're improving the team a lot, so, and it's kind of hard not to get excited. Norman saying, looking very exciting. Should we sign these new players, but do we run the risk of losing more players in the January market? I know we will have a stronger bench. Do we run the risk of losing more players? I think we will. We will definitely get lose a few players because we kind of have to if we're going to make these signings with these funds. Jordan Z, an Arsenal fan here, is a bit salty coming into the Spurs stream, trying to ruin our hopes. But to be honest, Jordan, I'll trust Sky Sports more than I trust you, if I'm honest. I think we will lose a lot of players though, because of these signings we're bringing in. Ultimately, we kind of have to. Edun saying, any update on Bruno joining United soon? I don't know anything about Bruno to United. I just know he's probably not joining Tottenham. Ewan Welch is one saying, any ideas on United? It just at the moment seems like Lukaku out, Eriksen not coming in, and potential for Mandzukic to join. I don't think the Inaki Williams one will happen. Tom Austin saying, City best team, Liverpool best team Spurs currently, in my opinion, which I suppose is a fair comment. P. Kenny saying, if we get all these signings, do you think Spurs are making a statement? Absolutely. And like, not only it is a massive statement getting the likes of Lo Celso, especially Dybala, as a statement signing, but we also have to remember the sheer quality that they both possess. It's going to be absolutely massive for the season ahead, and I'm incredibly excited about what we might see at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium this season. And we'll wait and see what happens. Now, as I was saying, I see over 350 people here in the stream. It's by far the most I've had. So thanks to everyone who is watching. If you are enjoying this live stream and you want more content like this when the season does start, just hit the subscribe button below the video and make sure to hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever I go live or whenever I upload. Also, I'm going to be doing a giveaway of a free Tottenham jersey if this video hits 200 likes before I end the live stream. I'm currently on 131, so come on, we try to get it to 200 so I can give away another Tottenham jersey. I'm already giving one away. If you want to check out the video I posted on Sunday morning, you'll see how you can be in with a chance to win that. Chill saying, I'm a ball boy for Tottenham, can't wait for the new season. That's unreal. I always love to have been a ball boy. The Aura Guardian saying, to the Arsenal fan, you're only here because Pepe is overpriced. William van der Moos saying, Dybala off, check BBC Sport. And the BBC Sport are the ones who kind of suggested that it was going to happen. I'll have a look now and see what they're saying about it. Jordan saying, just because you're better than us at the moment doesn't mean you're a bigger club. Alright, Jordan. Spurs Football Content saying, collab with We Are Tottenham TV. I don't think that's a possibility at the moment, but if they are watching, I would love to collab with them and make a video, but I don't think they would want to at the moment. Tottenham Reese saying, Matt, can you name 4 players in the current squad who will go down as Spurs legends? I think Harry Kane is close to it at the moment. I think Harry Winks has the potential to do it. As for other ones, maybe Hugo Lloris as the club captain. I don't know about any other one, but BBC reporting here, Dybala Tottenham move off. One sec now, I'll try to see if I can get into this. Tottenham miss out on Dybala, Sessegnon and Lo Celso set to join. Now, there's nothing on Sky Sports just yet, but BBC were the ones that reported the deal was close, and they didn't seem to be right about that. But they're now reporting that the Dybala deal is off and it won't be happening. It's a sickening blow if it's true, but David Ornstein, who was the BBC correspondent, has said this will be happening. Tottenham's proposed move for Paulo Dybala is off after Juventus ultimately decided not to sell the 25-year-old Argentinian forward. And as Reece says, it is only BBC. I'll wait to see now if this comes through on Sky Sports. I'll keep a close eye on that. It is worrying, like, when there are so many reports saying that it's going to happen and there's one saying it's not. It's kind of hard not to take it seriously. This is only in the last 3 minutes. David Ornstein of BBC saying Dybala to Tottenham is off and we won't be signing him this summer. Again, I'll keep an eye on nothing on Sky Sports. Fabrizio Romano. Now, nothing yet from Fabrizio Romano either. And as for Gianluca Di Marzio, nothing from him that it's off either. So it does seem to be only the BBC that are saying this Paulo Dybala move is off. I think it's very strange if it is Juventus that decide not to sell him. I wouldn't be overly surprised if it is Dybala or his agents that pull out of the move. But if if it's Juventus that pull out of this, it's very, very strange. But I don't see how they would be able to if they did agree a deal with Tottenham. If they did agree a deal with Tottenham, I don't see how they could then pull out of it. If they'd done their bit, I'm sure it would then be down to Dybala and his agent. Talksport as well saying it's done. Tom Austin saying fake news about the plane stuff. I don't know what to believe at the moment. Look, it's a massive blow if this doesn't go through. Harris Khan saying yeah because Juventus want to move. It's a massive blow if this doesn't go through. But it's not the end of the world because, I mean, if we sign Sessegnon and Lo Celso as well, it would be absolutely massive. Now, Tottenham Re saying Ricky Sachs has said that Dybala has arrived in London. Now, Ricky Sachs, he isn't exactly a source within the club. He just kind of reports the other ongoings in the window, kind of like I do. So I wouldn't be too... Oh, hold on now. Paulo Dybala is officially in London ahead of the Argentine securing his deadline day transfer to Tottenham Hotspur. Dybala has already agreed personal terms in principle with Pochettino Spurs, and Ricky Sachs in this tweet has referenced Sky Sports. So I wonder, has there been something that they've said on air in the last couple of minutes that hasn't yet made it onto their transfer blog? I'm not too sure. Very, very differing reports coming in now about Paulo Dybala. BBC is suggesting the move is off. Ricky Sachs referencing Sky Sports here saying the deal is on. And I think Welsh Guide 2014 has hit it on the head here. Hit the nail on the head. This is torture. I just want to know. I just want this all to end. I want to know what's going to happen. It's on, it's off, it's on, it's off. This is torture. Oh God, please just get it done. Again, it is only BBC saying this deal is off. Thomas D. Roberts saying Sky Sports have said nothing yet. This is a tweet from Ricky Sachs saying he's referencing Sky Sports saying that they have agreed personal terms and Dybala is in London. Now he's also referencing a report from Di Marzio. See if I can just find that one again. I just lost it here. 1 second now. He said Di Marzio have said Tottenham Hotspur will not accept failure in their attempts to sign Paulo Dybala before the closing of the summer transfer window. Spurs are close to finding an agreement on personal terms with the forward's agent in the hope that should help close it. So it does. So from this from the BBC report, Tottenham's proposed move for Paulo Dybala is off after Juventus ultimately decided not to sell the 25-year-old Argentina forward. Now, what I would gather from that is that I don't think Juventus can pull out of this deal. I think because they have agreed a deal with Tottenham, we know that happened. They agreed a deal of £64.4 million for Tottenham. So once they get that done, I think it is down to Dybala and his agent and the image rights. So I think once Juventus agree a deal and both sides agree on it, I don't think they can pull out of it. So while that is worrying and I'm a bit concerned at the moment, I wouldn't be too drawn in by that report because I don't think Juventus can pull out of the deal after they've agreed it with Tottenham. Because they're saying that Juventus have ultimately decided not to sell him. Now, not only is that unlikely because they were so keen to sell him earlier in the window, and as Peter Chain says, the fee was accepted. If true, they can't go back in it. Only the player can. Now, Anthony Jones saying Bruno and Dybala done deal on Sky Sports. Not true at all. Josh Jones saying who from BBC Sports said it was off. It was David Ornstein who has reported this. Delboy saying why would they say Juve have pulled out if they haven't? Well, I mean, there's like 99% of the transfer rumours you read aren't true. So a lot of the time there is things just made up. So now Jordan Z saying all rivalries aside, just lost the message there. Jeremy Mears saying there's a picture of Dybala at an airport. I think that's an older picture. It doesn't seem to be much substance to that. Now, Uwatme saying not sure why there's been no talk of a swap deal between Dybala and Eriksen. That was something that seemed to be a bit. It looked a bit likely to happen earlier in the window, but at the moment it doesn't seem like that's something either team is interested in. I don't think Juventus want Eriksen. And now Riley Melman as well saying Juventus have decided to keep Dybala. Spurs 13 saying One Football have reported it's off. It's quite worrying. Steve Ruffett saying you really should not be drinking a pint of vodka before work, Matt. Probably needed to get through this. BBC standing by that report. Still nothing on Sky Sports. I'm sure it's just coming up to 11 o'clock now, so start of a new programme. I'm sure they'll go through to Paul Gilmore at Hotspur Way as soon as they possibly can. Let's have a look now for this One Football report about Paulo Dybala. And Tottenham saying Juventus can't pull out at this stage. I don't think they can. I think once they've agreed a deal, it's all down to the player. The latest here on One Football is that Tottenham are close to Paulo Dybala deal. Caden Shipley saying just had a notification by One Football saying the Dybala deal is taking a dramatic twist. Worried right now. Yeah, this is pretty worrying with these reports coming out. But again, I don't think Juventus can pull out of this deal. I really, really don't. I mean, unless if Juventus have now made the decision to not sell him, perhaps that could convince Paulo Dybala to stay at Juventus, because we know that's ultimately what he wanted. So maybe he is now pulled out of the deal. And Jimmy Page saying I should have taken the day off work. How am I going to stay off my phone? All I say is it's going to be a very unproductive day at work. I will not be able to stay off my phone. But the good thing is it is a football-based business, and they'll all be keeping an eye on the deadline day. And there's a few TVs in the office, so hopefully they'll have it online there, and I'll be able to keep up to date. Now, still nothing on Sky Sports, but I'm getting worried about this one, about Paulo Dybala. I'll have a look on Twitter again to see these few different things that could potentially be coming through. Ricky Sachs, quoting BBC Sports, in Tottenham Hotspur have ended negotiations with Juventus over the transfer of Paulo Dybala. The Italian side have now ultimately decided not to sell the 25-year-old Argentina forward on this dramatic deadline day. Standard Sport are saying Tottenham have already reached an agreement with Paulo Dybala. However, it's very complicated due to agent fees and image rights. Mirror Football saying Tottenham have now fallen short. So it seems there's a whole host of reports coming out now that this Dybala deal is off. Tottenham Reese saying Matt Juve won't keep him, they need to sell him to fund Icardi. And Harry Pizza saying, okay, One Football just quoting what the BBC have said, and Mirror Football not the most reliable source. Riley Mellon saying it's on Twitter from some David Ornstein. He's the BBC correspondent. Caden Shipley saying this is so back and forth, I'm getting worried. A few people saying Jimmy Page saying probably too expensive, that sucks. Spurs 13, yeah, Sky haven't said it's off yet. I think Sky do work a lot more to confirm their reports before they put them out. I think BBC, when they get it in, they put it straight out and hope it's true. I think BBC or Sky Sports are a lot more reliable because they do work harder to confirm those reports. But yeah, at the moment I'm a bit worried about this. Look, still 6 hours left. There can be a lot of developments. I'm just looking again on Sky Sports, still nothing. Thomas D. Roberts saying Sky Sports have breaking news. Nothing's official, nothing's off. BBC said it was close. Spurs 13 said this morning they were the first people. Okay, Alan Harry's saying Sky Sports say we have agreed a deal with Dybala and are just sorting things out. Musa Sissoko saying Sky Sports just at Spurs now and nothing about Dybala. And Nathan saying Dybala's off. Oh, this is absolute torture. Oh, I just want Paulo Dybala. The breaking news from Sky Sports is Newcastle have signed a player. Jimmy Page saying why is he in London then? Those are unconfirmed reports. That is not definite. There are a few Twitters saying a few Twitter reports, pictures saying that he is there, but they seem to be older pictures. Someone here saying why would BBC have fake news? Surely it would damage credibility. And someone saying look at Dybala's Instagram story. Robin Kirk saying Dybala is off, ha 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 ha, and he can't even spell Dybala right. Tottenham Reese OMG Musa Sissoko watching your stream. Now I can't get Dybala's Instagram story at the moment on my phone, so I'm using it to record. See if I can get it online. Just 1 second, I'll try to open that up. Dat Luxford saying image rights have done us. Max Hughes saying this happened with Lo Celso. Still nothing on Sky Sports, so I would wait for that. I would wait for that report from Sky Sports before I get too bogged down in this. Lee saying the person who reported it off is an Arsenal fan. So whether it's true remains to be seen. Spurs 13, I'm so annoyed. Tottenham saying it's just him saying goodbye, Matt. Is he saying goodbye to Juventus? I'm trying to open up here, but my laptop is too slow. I can't seem to get it up quickly. William van den Bos saying many sources quoting Ornstein. Robin Kirk saying it is off. Wait, is the Dybala deal off? Look, I haven't a clue at the moment. That looks like Sky Sports have reported it. Have they reported it's off? Jimmy Page, almost 450 people watching your stream and the majority of them biting their nails. This is stressful. Okay, Rob Kelly saying he's mentioning his teammates. Sorry about getting you excited. You're not getting me excited. Everything's getting me excited. Oh, I just want this sorted. This is absolute torture. Oh my god. Alan Harry saying Sky Sports just changed, saying extremely difficult to sign Dybala. On the website they've reported it. Sky Sports are only on about Lo Celso. Tottenham saying I look scared. I'm very scared. Still nothing on the transfer blog. Nathan saying yeah, Dybala's off. Men saying where is Dybala? Oh, this is so painful. CV saying we have 6 hours to sign in, potentially more if we do get a deal sheet in. Now I've got Instagram open here, see if we can get Paulo Dybala. Now, so Paulo Dybala has added a story. Oh no, it's just Paulo Dybala, his stories from yesterday when he's talking to his players after the game. There's nothing new up there. Lee saying all of this Dybala has us all on strings right now. Evan saying why has Dybala been such a nightmare to negotiate with? And Josh Jones as well saying I wouldn't believe anything until it's on Sky Sports, and I'm the very same. It's all about what Sky Sports have to say. And David Ornstein, I was getting excited when he had that report earlier about the image rights apparently being agreed, so I can't completely ignore what he's saying now. But Jamie Buckley saying how to ruin Tottenham's fans' window. Welsh guy saying Sky Sports just saying it is difficult, nothing that it's off. Oh, this is so bad. Tom Austin, most word used today is Dybala. Troy saying I just read Juventus are going to help pay some of his wages on football.london. Harris Khan saying terms agreed, can Juventus back off? And I think they should back off. I don't think they're in a position where they can just back out of this now, because as I said, they agreed this deal with Tottenham. I don't think they can then turn around and say no, we don't want to do it, because once they do it, once they agree a deal, I don't think they can go back on it. Once the two teams agree something, they can't. Now David Ornstein said Arsenal weren't signing Pepe, look what happened. No offence, but Spurs aren't big enough for Dybala because we want to go to a team that wins the league or at least challenge, and that's only Liverpool and City. And Spurs 13 summing it all up now in all caps. I don't know what to believe. Oh my god, I just want this to end. Mohammed asking what time is the transfer window close? It closes at 5 p.m. English time, so that's just under 6 hours, but teams can get an extra 2 hours to complete deals if they submit a deal sheet to the Premier League in time. Excuse me. Still nothing on Sky Sports about Dybala. Jamie Buckley saying when I saw the news I stopped breathing for 30 seconds. Harris Khan said he thinks Dybala is coming. Tom Austin, Dybala spotted at Area 51. Nathan saying David Ornstein is a great reporter, so is Di Marzio, and Transfer Checker, check them. Transfer Checker. Oh, this is tough. Pineapple Cousin saying Man United getting Mandzukic is a good offer. I think it's a good signing for them. I mean, he's a very experienced player, he knows how to win, and I suppose when they need a quick replacement for Romelu Lukaku, he could be the best option, because they're not going to get one of the best players in the world. It's too late in the window now to pursue a deal like that, so I think Mandzukic could be a good option for them. Now, according to Transfer Checker, about an hour ago, Dybala Lo Celso to Spurs is a done deal. Medical taking place as we speak, and he's expected to sign. Club still in talks to sign Paulo Dybala, according to numerous reports in Italy, but the deal isn't currently close to completion. What a statement this could be from Spurs. And as someone said there, why is David Ornstein the only one reporting this? And I suppose we do have to remember that he was the only one reporting that the image right deal was done. So if he's the only one reporting that, and that didn't seem to come to anything, if he's the only one reporting this, maybe it's not going to happen. Mark Chadwick saying Dybala going to Madrid, told you that won't happen. Madrid there's so many players they could sign. Obviously they've already spent upwards of £200 million, and now they want Pogba, Van de Beek, Neymar, and potentially Eriksen. So I don't think that will happen. Tottenham saying Matt, don't get worried until it's on Sky or Sky Italy. Oh, but I will get worried. I'll try not to, but I definitely will. Jamie Buckley saying as well, David Ornstein is an Arsenal fan. I'll look him up here and see what he's about. That Luxor is saying, knowing our luck, all our links will end up at United. Yeah, so David Ornstein tweeted 3 hours ago, Tottenham close to reaching agreement to sign Juventus forward Paulo Dybala. Deal not done, but clubs hopeful. Tottenham stepped up interest after their pursuit of Sporting Lisbon midfielder Bruno Fernandes ended over a fee, and Man United's proposed move for Dybala was called off. And then 20 minutes ago we said Tottenham's proposed move for Dybala is off after Juventus pulled out of the deal. It's your guy saying Hotspur related say Dybala not off. Now, who I forgot to check, I'm going to have a look at All Things Spurs. Now, All Things Spurs, as I said, is a very reliable in the know on Twitter. He's called a lot of things over the window that have proved to be right. The main one being the Lo Celso loan deal, which no one was expecting. And he got that out before everyone else. And now he hasn't had any updates in the last hour. So the last thing he said was, it's all systems go for Dybala. So, according to him, the latest is that it will be happening. It'll be absolutely massive if we sign Dybala. Absolutely massive. And, I mean, it won't be the end of the world if we don't. Austin Long saying, sources in Italy say it's not off, but difficult. That's Football Italia. Championship Round saying, Ornstein is as professional as they come. He was also spot on with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Jimmy Page, this is doing my head in. Oh, you're not the only one. Oh, this is so tough. Tottenham Reese saying, Matt, Sky Sports have said that it's extremely difficult. Yeah, that's worrying. But, I mean, we knew it wasn't going to be an easy deal either way, but it is a bit of a blow that maybe this early in the day it has. Danny Wilcox saying betting company says it's off. I'll have a look at Sky Bet. Mac Plays asking, has the Tierney deal gone through yet? It hasn't gone through yet, but that's looking like it's only a matter of time. Liverpool fans saying, is Dybala going to Spurs or not? I haven't a clue at the moment. It's so many different reports coming out. And as someone said a second ago, deadline day, it's all about rumours, and it's a chance for a lot of different places to get a whole lot of traffic in. So they will put out whatever they want, whatever they can put out. Now Dybala a while ago was 7-2 odds on. He was 9-2 odds on. It's now gone back up to 5-2. So Sky Bet thinking it's not as likely as it was. Bit of a blow, but not the end of the world. I mean, it could very well still happen. As for Giovanni Lo Celso, he's not there, so potentially betting suspended on Lo Celso joining Tottenham, which is could only be encouraging, to be honest. Peter Shane's going to be a long day. Bradley Coombs something in Sky Sports. Tottenham Reece saying he's after Forest Green, and I'll see him in the League 2 with Scunthorpe. Mr. Slackalot saying Dybala or not Tottenham have done some massive transfers. There's a whole lot of comments coming in here, guys. I'm going to keep up with them as best I can, but nearly 450 people here. I will try and keep up, but I apologise if I can't get to your comment. Alan Harry saying, if Man United sell Mario Mandzukic from Juventus, how can they sell Dybala? So it seems like there'll be a domino effect there. It looks like Juventus might be signing Mauro Icardi from Inter Milan. He's someone that Antonio Conte doesn't really want in the team. So they could be signing Icardi as a replacement, and maybe the funds from Mandzukic and Dybala would be needed to go towards that. Now maybe if Juventus have heard that their deal for Icardi could be off, potentially that may be why they've pulled out of this deal. I don't think they've pulled out of the deal, but maybe they've said to Dybala, look, we want you, and I imagine if that is the case, Dybala would stay. Tom Austin saying, is this a record number of viewers for your channel? It is. I think 100 was the most I had in the stream before this, so we're up at 430 at the moment. Thanks to everyone who is watching. Subscribe if you are enjoying the stream, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up. OMG Spence saying, Lo Celso just landed for medical. Steve Ruffett saying, Matt, you know what the media are like, they hate us, which unfortunately is true. Lee saying, David Ornstein reported that Zaha was going to be going to Arsenal. Rob McKirk saying Dybala staying at Juve. Declan Scully saying all these gooners go back to AFTV. Pineapple Cousins saying Spurs could get a quality player in Lo Celso. Liverpool fans saying Lo Celso is there, and that is true. According to Sky Sports, Lo Celso is in London and he's currently on his way to Hotspur Way to undergo a medical. Some other outlets saying that potentially he's already had the medical and it is only a matter of time before this goes through. I'm looking on Twitter, and the only reports about the Dybala deal being off seem to be retweets or just the same things quoting David Ornstein. And in the one here from Ricky Sachs, Graham Roberts has replied and said that's a shock. So he kind of seemed to expect that deal to go ahead. Now, Hotspur related 29 minutes ago said Juventus must now approve the signing of Dybala, and Juventus could potentially use Dybala in a swap deal for Mauro Icardi, and that's according to Di Marzio. So that's definitely the most worrying one so far. So Juventus, they do want Mauro Icardi, and potentially the only way for them to do that is to use Dybala in a swap deal. And we heard yesterday, the day before, that Dybala would only consider leaving Juventus to go to Inter Milan or PSG. Of course, unconfirmed reports, but according to Di Marzio now, Juventus do need to approve the signing, but they may not do that because they could use him in a swap deal for Mauro Icardi. So, yeah, guys, this one could be off. Football Italia reporting it's not, but this one could very well be off. Again, Sky Sports reiterating that Lo Celso is in London having a medical, but yeah, it looks like Dybala to Tottenham could be off, guys. Unfortunately, it was good while it lasted, but look, it's still going to be a great window for us. I mean, we've kept a hold of Alderweireld, Eriksen, Rose, and bringing in players like Ndombele, Lo Celso, and Sessegnon. And I think with this Dybala deal off, we could see a couple of developments elsewhere. So, I mean, it would have been unbelievable to sign Dybala, but ultimately, if we don't get him, it's not the end of the world. It was always kind of a dream, and it wasn't something we were expecting or something that we demanded of the club. It was more a bonus to something else that we might have gotten done. But yeah, it looks like Dybala's off, unfortunately. I'm still waiting for something to come through from Sky Sports. Caden saying, nah, stay positive. I've tried to stay as positive as I can throughout the winter, and a few people saying it's still 50-50. Look, I mean, we'll see. Oh, I just want this to end. I want it to be over. Jamie Buckley saying we have to go to Fernandes. Now, Fernandes, his agent met with the Sporting Lisbon president yesterday, and they agreed that Fernandes would only leave the club if they got an offer of about if they got an offer of £70 million up front, which at the moment doesn't look likely, especially from Tottenham. Maybe if the Dybala deal is off, the funds could be there for that to go ahead. Like with the Dybala deal, 64 million up front and 70 million for the image fees. That could be 80 million in the bank now. So we could potentially go back in for Bruno Fernandes. But Emily Cox saying Sky Sports says Lo Celso has landed in London to do his medical now. Joshua Humphrey saying, why can't we sign Dybala and then use that? Juve can use that money to get Icardi. I'm not sure why that couldn't happen, but look, again, waiting for a confirmation from Sky Sports about this. I just need to grab my phone charger. My phone's about to die there. The streaming software is an absolute killer for battery. Jimmy Page saying, I'm sure he's just wanting too much in wages. Well, it seems to be that Juventus have pulled out of this. I didn't think they could, but perhaps they can if they've decided that they do. If they did have a thing in that where they needed to approve the deal before it happened, and now they may potentially need Dybala to force through that Mauro Icardi deal. Potentially, this could be happening. Bleak saying, according to my uncle who's gone away, apparently everyone's talking about him arriving. He's due to arrive soon. Tottenham Reese saying Levy has found the funds. One Football have said the Sessegnon deal has been put on hold because of disagreements. Mark Chabby saying let's all laugh at Spurs. No. So I'll have a look there at the One Football, see if there's something there about Sessegnon. The Sessegnon one seemed as though it's about to happen immediately. They're saying stream has stopped. We're not receiving data from... Sorry, hold on one sec now. Is it working again? Mimic 10 saying Dybala has been spotted in Paris according to Sky Sports. That's not true. Tottenham will not be signing Dybala, yes. Oh, the viewers are dropping. No, can't see Dybala either. I'm not sure what's going on here. Maybe if I plug my phone in, is that...